My wife is a beautiful CEO. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 951. Making a bet. Meng Xiu was so angry. The crowd around him pointed and talked. Damn. This guy is a bit too arrogant. I think he is still a little too arrogant. Even if he knows a little bit about medicine, how can he treat divine Dr. Meng like this? I think this kid is just pretending to attract people's attention and get some limelight. Young people are like this. However, it's a bit too much for him to do this when we are treating patients here. Yes, we still have to rely on divine Dr. Meng. Seeing that everyone supported him, Meng Xiu's expression suddenly relaxed a little. Yuan Qianhua was a little anxious when she saw Su Chen and Meng Xiu like this. She hurriedly said, "Divine Dr. Meng, you should treat my dad quickly." As she spoke, she smiled apologetically at Su Chen. Meng Xiu nodded. Huh. He glared at Su Chen and then readjusted the position of the silver needle. Kish acupoint, half an inch deeper. Kimen acupoint, pull out an inch. Ryu acupoint, pull out. Soon, Meng Xiu finished the adjustment, clapped his hands, and stood up directly. Don't worry. I have inserted the needles again. Your father will wake up soon. Meng Xiu said to Yuan Qianhua. Yuan Qianhua's face was overjoyed. Thank you, Dr. Meng. At this moment. Don't thank him. Yuan Junsheng can't wake up. Su Chen's voice sounded again. Yuan Qianhua was startled and turned to look at Su Chen. Meng Xiu's face suddenly darkened. On the side, Meng Fiai was even more furious. He rolled up his sleeves, pointed at Su Chen and cursed. Boy, are you looking for trouble? Su Chen said lightly, I'm just telling the truth. Meng Fiai was so angry that he was about to step forward and take action. Fiai, stop. At this time, Meng Xiu shouted coldly. Meng Fiai stopped immediately, but his face was very unconvinced. Meng Xiu looked at Su Chen coldly. Boy, what do you mean? Have I ever offended you? Su Chen said calmly, you think too much. I just saw you make a mistake in acupuncture and pointed it out. Bullshit. How could my dad make a mistake? Meng Fiai said angrily. Meng Xiu waved his hand to stop Meng Fiai. Then, he stared at Su Chen and said, haha. I, Meng Xiu, have been practicing medicine for many years, and I have rarely been questioned like this. Today, I must show you how I save people. Didn't you say that I can't save Mr. Yuan like this? What if he wakes up? Su Chen said calmly, I bow to you and apologize. Okay. Meng Xiu agreed immediately. If he can't wake up, I apologize to you. 3 minutes is the limit. Su Chen's face was indifferent. Deal. The two stopped talking immediately. The people around them were surprised. They had never seen such a bet. Yuan Qianhua's pretty face was also full of worry. She was not interested in the bet between Su Chen and Meng Xiu. She just wanted to see her father get better. Yuan Qianhua half squatted, staring at Yuan Junsheng with a pair of beautiful eyes. Soon, the purple and blue on Yuan Junsheng's face slowly faded, and his face slowly became ruddy. Mr. Meng, look at my dad. Yuan Qianhua said in surprise. Meng Xiu's face was full of pride. This is normal. I will give Mr. Yuan acupuncture again, and he will naturally get better soon. In another minute, he will basically wake up. Hearing this, the others immediately showed admiration. It's true that he is a genius doctor on the saint hand list, and he works as soon as he takes action. Yes, Dr. Meng's star 13 needles are famous throughout the Jiangnan province. It seems that Dr. Meng is going to win the bet with that young man. Is there any need to say this? This young man is also ignorant of the world and has to compete with Meng Xiu in medical skills. This is embarrassing himself. Listening to the discussions of the crowd, Meng Fiai was also in high spirits. Although it was not him who cured Yuan Junsheng, he still felt relieved. Meng Fiai looked at Su Chen proudly. Boy, do you admit defeat? Su Chen glanced at him indifferently. Is the patient awake? Meng Fiai was stunned. Humph. You are just being stubborn. Meng Fiai was very angry and could only turn his head to look at Yuan Junsheng again. However, 2 minutes passed. Yuan Junsheng still did not respond. Meng Xiu frowned slightly. He raised his hand. Wait a little longer. 3 minutes passed. Yuan Junsheng was still lying there. Everyone stopped talking. Su Chen did not urge him, but waited quietly. 5 minutes passed. Everything was the same as before. The onlookers suddenly whispered, "What's going on? It's been 5 minutes. Why hasn't Yuan Junsheng woke up yet?" Who knows? Could it be that Meng Xiu's medical skills are no longer effective? In this case, doesn't Meng Xiu have to apologize to that young man? It doesn't really matter whether he apologizes or not. The key is whether Yuan Junsheng can still survive. Hearing these discussions, Meng Xiu's face was extremely ugly, but he didn't have any ideas. At this time, Yuan Qianhua was completely anxious. "Meng Shen doctor, why hasn't my dad woken up yet?" Meng Xiu frowned. "Miss Yuan, don't worry, I'm thinking too." He squatted beside Yuan Junsheng and kept checking. What exactly is wrong? Meng Xiu was very troubled. At this time, Su Chen said, "In addition to the patient's liver fire, the lungs have been affected. The adjustments you made just now are correct. However, there is still a lack of treatment for the lungs, so the patient can't wake up. So, you also need to insert the needle 1.5 inches into the Shufan acupoint and remove the needle after 10 seconds. Xianshu acupoint. Insert the needle at a 45-degree left angle." Su Chen instructed calmly. On the side, Meng Xiu said angrily, "Stinky boy, why are you pretending? Does my dad need your guidance?" However, before he could finish his words, bang, Meng Xiu stood up and kicked Meng Xiu away. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Even Yuan Qianhua, who was still worried about his father, looked at Meng Xiu dumbfounded. "Dad, why did you kick me?" Meng Xiu looked aggrieved. He was obviously protecting Meng Xiu's face. However, Meng Xiu's eyes lit up and rushed to Su Chen's face. "What you said makes sense. Is there anything else?" Seeing Meng Xiu's humble look of seeking advice, Meng Xiu was stunned. The second update is here. Chapter 952, The Daughter of the Yuan Family. Meng Xiu was a little dumbfounded. His father Meng Xiu, who always looked up to others, actually asked Su Chen for advice seriously like a primary school student. This made him feel a little unreal. The other spectators around were also a little confused. This young man is actually a miracle doctor. Even Meng Xiu asked him for advice. He must have been bluffing, right? He is so young. You are kidding. If you are bluffing, can you bluff Meng Xiu? For a moment, everyone was amazed. Meng Xiu didn't care about these voices. Although, he usually pays more attention to his face. But this time, Su Chen did see more deeply than him. Meng Xiu's character has always been like this. He is very arrogant, and is well known in the circle of Dragon Country Saint Hand list. If you don't have any ability to talk nonsense, Meng Xiu will definitely despise you. Even if it was by Ansan, Meng Xiu was very unconvinced and wanted to challenge him all the time to replace him. However, at this moment Su Chen said it in one word, which made Meng Xiu very convinced. "Are there any other places that need to be adjusted?" Meng Xiu asked. Su Chen thought for a moment and said calmly, "Nothing else. However, there is one thing that can be strengthened. All the silver needles can be slightly shallower. After all, the patient has been ill for a long time. The effect can be slowed down to prevent the patient's body from reacting too much." Meng Xiu's eyes lit up. Yes. Why didn't I think of that? Then, he turned back excitedly. Then, according to what Su Chen said just now, adjust all the silver needles again. Yuan Qianhua looked at Yuan Junsheng nervously. The other spectators around were also very curious whether what Su Chen said was right. Only Meng Xiu was very conflicted. He wanted Yuan Junsheng to wake up, but he didn't want to see Su Chen steal the show. However, in the end, Yuan Junsheng woke up in the surprised eyes of everyone. Ahem. Yuan Junsheng coughed out a trace of blood and then slowly woke up. For a moment, the onlookers looked at Su Chen in surprise. Awake. So this young man is a real medical expert. As expected, there are experts among the common people. This young man is even better than Divine Dr. Meng. Now that Yuan Junsheng has been saved, I guess this kid will also be very successful. Everyone was very excited about Su Chen. Dad. Yuan Qianhua was very excited, and she rushed directly to Yuan Junsheng, crying. Just now, she was almost scared. Yuan Junsheng was confused. "Qianhua, what happened to me? Dad, you almost got into trouble just now." Yuan Qianhua wiped her tears and then roughly recounted the process. Yuan Junsheng looked at Meng Xiu, stood up and said gratefully, "Divine Dr. Meng, you saved me just now. Thank you so much." Before he finished speaking, Meng Xiu waved his hands. "Mr. Yuan, you thanked the wrong person." Yuan Junsheng was stunned. Meng Xiu smiled bitterly, pointed at Su Chen and said, "It was actually this gentleman who saved you. If it weren't for his guidance, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to save you." Yuan Junsheng looked at Su Chen's young face, a little confused. He couldn't understand why it was not Meng Xiu, the divine doctor on the Sheng Sheng list, who saved him, but a young man like Su Chen. At this time, Yuan Qianhua leaned close to Yuan Junsheng's ear and whispered a few words. Yuan Junsheng's eyes lit up. He walked quickly to Su Chen and bowed deeply. "Sir, I will never forget your life-saving grace. From now on, you will be my honored guest of Yuan Junsheng. There are 10 million in this card. Please accept this little gift from anyone." As he spoke, Yuan Junsheng respectfully handed Su Chen a card with both hands. He has always been generous and open-minded. What's more, it was Su Chen who saved his life. Moreover, a medical master like Su Chen has always been someone Yuan Junsheng wanted to befriend. Su Chen waved his hand and said with a smile, "No need to do that. I just said a few words." Yuan Junsheng insisted, "Don't say that. Your few words saved my life. Isn't my life worth 10 million? Yuan Junsheng insisted on giving it. Yuan Qianhua came forward and forced the card directly into Su Chen's hand. She said gratefully, "Please accept it quickly. Otherwise, my dad will not be able to sleep well in the future." As she spoke, Yuan Qianhua looked pleading. Su Chen smiled helplessly and could only put it away. At this time, Yuan Qianhua asked, "By the way, what is your name, benefactor?" Su Chen said lightly, "My name is Su Chen." "Su Chen?" Yuan Qianhua's beautiful eyes flashed, and she murmured, "This name seems familiar, as if I have heard it somewhere." Su Chen smiled, "My name is too ordinary." Yuan Qianhua waved his hand. "Mr. Su, it's not." At this time, Yuan Junsheng also walked to Meng Xiu and handed over another bank card. "Mr. Meng, here is 2 million. Thank you for your help." Meng Xiu looked embarrassed. He refused. "Mr. Yuan, I don't want to receive gifts without merit. Just now, I almost hurt you. If I charge you for medical treatment again, it would be shameless." Yuan Junsheng tried to persuade him for a long time, but was finally rejected by Meng Xiu. Meng Xiu pointed at Su Chen and said, "Just keep it. In fact, I also want to thank you. It is because of you that I met Mr. Su." Yuan Junsheng nodded. At this time, Yuan Junsheng's mobile phone rang. He lowered his head to read the text message, and then his face changed slightly. Yuan Junsheng walked back to Su Chen and said, "Mr. Su, I will always remember your life-saving grace. If you encounter any trouble in Xianjiang City or the entire Jiangnan province, please tell me. You will always be a distinguished guest of our Jun family." Su Chen smiled. "You are welcome." Yuan Junsheng continued, "I have something urgent to do here, so I need to leave first. If you are free, please come to visit the Xianjiang Yuan family." Su Chen said lightly, "It depends on the time." Yuan Qianhua stared at Su Chen with flashing eyes and said, "Mr. Su, can you leave me a contact number?" Su Chen wanted to refuse, but Yuan Qianhua blinked her big eyes and looked pitiful. Su Chen had no choice but to tell Yuan Qianhua her mobile phone number. Yuan Junsheng looked at his daughter with appreciation. The two said goodbye and left quickly. Su Chen was about to leave. Meng Xiu came up. "The third update is here. I will try to write another chapter, and it will be done in about 10 minutes. Everyone wait." Chapter 953 Another one. Su Chen saw that the matter was over and was about to leave. Suddenly, "Mr. Su, wait a minute." Meng Xiu rushed directly to Su Chen. Su Chen looked up at Meng Xiu and said with a smile, "What's wrong? Are you not convinced? Do you want to continue the competition?" Meng Xiu smiled bitterly. "Don't joke. I'm here to apologize to you. Didn't we make a bet just now? I lost and I want to apologize to you." As he spoke, Meng Xiu turned around and called Meng Fiayu, "Son, come here." Meng Fiayu looked reluctant, but after Meng Xiu glared at him, he hurried over. "Follow me and bow to Mr. Su to apologize," Meng Xiu ordered. "Yes." Meng Fiayu had a sad face and did not dare to refute. Immediately, the two bowed deeply to Su Chen. "Mr. Su, I apologize to you," Meng Xiu said loudly. Although Meng Fiao's voice was small, it could still be heard. Su Chen smiled. This Meng Xiu is really a straightforward person. Although the guy in front of him was a little face conscious, he was not the kind of person who would save face regardless of right or wrong. For a moment, Su Chen's evaluation of this person improved a lot. "Okay, this is not a big deal," Su Chen said lightly. "Your star 13 needles are indeed effective, but you still need to be more serious in analyzing the patient's condition. Next time you examine the patient's lesions, you should look at the problem more in connection. The human body is a whole, and you can't analyze a lesion in isolation. You need to infer whether the patient's pathology will affect other organs." Meng Xiu nodded repeatedly. "You are right." At this moment, Meng Xiu was like a real student. After Su Chen finished speaking, he was about to turn around and leave. Meng Xiu stopped Su Chen again. "Anything else?" Su Chen asked. Meng Xiu hesitated. Finally, he asked a little embarrassedly, "Mr. Su, since you can see that I'm using the star 13 needles, can you give me some advice?" On the side, Meng Fiao suddenly widened his eyes. His father, Meng Xiu, was the 14th ranked doctor on the Saint Hands list, and he was always arrogant. Some of the top 10 Saint Hands on the Saint Hands list could not get his approval. As a result, Meng Xiu was actually asking for advice from this young boy. Moreover, he was asking for advice on Meng Xiu's signature skill, 13 star needles. Meng Fiao felt it was a bit unbelievable. Could he teach this young boy? However, Su Chen said calmly, "No problem." Hearing this, Meng Fiao felt that these two people were crazy. One dared to ask. The other really dared to give advice. Meng Xiu's face was overjoyed. "Mr. Su, among the 13 star needles, my Big Dipper star needle is stuck at the 5th needle, and it is difficult to move forward." Meng Fiao turned his head and looked at Su Chen. He wanted to see if this guy really understood it. Su Chen said calmly, "You should be stuck by the Zhangji acupoint, right?" With one sentence, Meng Xiu's face suddenly showed excitement. Yes, yes, yes. Meng Xiu had only asked tentatively, but he didn't expect Su Chen to really understand. "Mr. Su, what exactly is my problem?" Meng Xiu bowed deeply and asked sincerely. Su Chen said calmly, "It's very simple. Zhangji acupoint is a little special. When you apply acupuncture, you must insert the needle into Zhangji acupoint together with Guanyuan acupoint, and both must be 1.5 inches apart, without the slightest deviation." Meng Xiu's eyes lit up immediately. "So that's how it is. I understand. I really understand. Ha ha ha." Meng Xiu burst into laughter. On the side, Meng Fiao saw his father's appearance and didn't know what to say. Next, Meng Xiu's actions made Meng Fiao dumbfounded. Meng Xiu stepped forward and bowed deeply to Su Chen. "Mr. Su, thank you for your guidance. I have a presumptuous request. Can I become your disciple and learn medical skills from you? I'm sincere in learning. Please accept me." After this, Meng Fiao was completely dumbfounded. My dad wants to take Su Chen as his master? In this case, Su Chen is my master's master? I'm a grandson. Meng Xiu doesn't care about Meng Fiao's thoughts. He has seen clearly that Su Chen is definitely a top master in medicine. If he can take Su Chen as his master and learn from him for a period of time, his medical skills will definitely improve faster. Su Chen looked at Meng Xiu with a confused face. What's going on? He just got off the plane and someone wants to take him as his master. And he is a genius doctor on the Saint Hand list. He has 2 such old men in his family. Thinking of the 2 old men, Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan, Su Chen suddenly felt a headache. No, I must not accept them anymore. The 2 old men quarreled every day and made Su Chen's head hurt. If there were 3, it would be a big deal. Thinking of this, Su Chen said directly, "Mr. Meng, I'm not from Jiangnan province, and I will not stay in Xianjiang city for a long time. Sorry." Meng Xiu did not give up at all. "Mr. Su, I'm absolutely sincere. You can test me at will. If you don't stay in Xianjiang for a long time, I can also follow you to learn." Su Chen looked painful. "Sorry, at present, I really don't have the idea of accepting a disciple. I can be your registered disciple." Meng Xiu did not give up at all. Su Chen was speechless. How can this be relied on himself? That I have to go to the toilet first. Su Chen chose to pee directly. I'll go with you, Mengziu said hurriedly. Su Chen had no choice but to be sent to the toilet door by Mengziu. After entering the toilet, Su Chen took off his coat directly, made a simple disguise, and walked away in front of Mengziu easily. After walking a few dozen meters away, Su Chen looked back. Mengziu was still excited and waiting at the toilet door. Su Chen shook his head and left quickly. On the side, Meng Fiao asked pitifully, Dad, why do you have to take that young man? Mr. Su is your master. In this way, wouldn't I become his disciple? He looks much younger than me. Meng Fiao was very annoyed. Mengziu glared at him fiercely. Is age a problem? In our medical field, the most important thing is to be the first. Mr. Su has the ability, so I should learn from him. Besides, Mr. Su just said a few words, and I made a breakthrough in acupuncture. If I take Mr. Su as my master, that Bian will never be able to raise his head in front of me again. Humph, Mengziu said proudly. At this moment, he seemed to have seen the future. Thinking of Bian humble appearance in front of him, Mengziu felt so happy that he exploded. Bian just wait. After I take Mr. Su as my master, you have to give up the top 10 to me. Ha ha ha. Mengziu laughed proudly. The fourth update is here. Finally, it's the fourth update. Good night, everyone. Thank you for your support. Good night. Chapter 954. Surprising encounter. Mengziu was still dreaming. He had no idea that Su Chen had already left. What Mengziu could not have imagined was that his opponent, Bian, who he wanted to defeat, had already been Su Chen's disciple. If he knew about this in the future, he would not know what his expression would be. Mengziu was outside the toilet, imagining the future, when his medical skills would be greatly improved. However, time passed quickly. Su Chen never came out again. The excitement on Mengziu's face gradually faded, and a trace of uneasiness lingered in his heart. Why hasn't Mr. Su come out yet? Mengziu asked in confusion. On the side, Meng Fiao said unhappily, who knows? He may be constipated. Get out of the way. Mengziu glared at Meng Fiao. With Mr. Su's medical skills, how could he have such a minor problem? Go in and take a look. Meng Fiao looked helpless, but he could only bite the bullet and walk into the toilet. Soon, Meng Fiao ran out in a panic. Dad, it's bad. That young man, Mr. Su is gone. Meng Fiao said anxiously. Mengziu's face changed. What? Did you check carefully? I checked every bit. There was no sign of Mr. Su. Meng Fiao said. Mengziu's face fell immediately. It's over. Mr. Su definitely doesn't want to accept me as his disciple. Mengziu looked discouraged. On the side, Meng Fiao was secretly relieved. He advised, Dad, I think Mr. Su just doesn't know what's good for him. You are the 14th ranked genius doctor on the Saint Hand list, and he doesn't know how to cherish you. Why do you have to put your face on a cold butt and rush to worship him as your master? Mengziu glared and said angrily, you know shit. It's such a pity to meet a master but miss him. You are arrogant and complacent every day, thinking that you know everything, so your medical skills are stagnant. If you are not like this, how could you lose so much face today? You should have adjusted your arrogant mentality a long time ago. Meng Fiao was scolded and couldn't raise his head. What should we do now? We don't know where he lives, and we can't contact him. Meng Fiao asked. Mengziu thought about it. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Oh, right. Just now, Miss Yuan Qianhe left Mr. Su's phone number. I can ask her for his contact information. Mengziu's face was overjoyed. Meng Fiao sighed in his heart. It seems that his father must find a master for him. Meng Fiao said, Dad, let's talk about your apprenticeship later. We are in a hurry to come back this time. Aren't we going to the Jiang family to practice medicine? The old man of the Jiang family seems to be a little sick. Let's go to the Jiang family first, and then consider your apprenticeship. Mengziu nodded. He has always been full of medical ethics and understands the urgency of things. Yes. Saving lives is important. Let's go. On the other side, after Su Chen walked out of the airport, he breathed a sigh of relief. He really didn't want to accept such an old apprentice in medicine anymore. Now, there are already 2 old men in the family, and he doesn't have time to take care of them. If he recruited more people, it would be a waste of both parties' time. If they met normally, it would be fine to give some pointers, but Su Chen really didn't have the time to become a disciple and pass on his skills. After leaving the airport, Su Chen took a taxi. Sitting in the taxi, Su Chen looked at the city landscape along the way. It must be said that the development of Jiangnan province is indeed much better than that of Dongzhou province. Xianjiang, the capital of Jiangnan province, is also much better than the provincial capital of Dongzhou. Even the taxi driver was proud when he mentioned Xianjiang city. In his words, there was some contempt for other provinces. Su Chen was too lazy to argue with the driver, but he had some thoughts in his heart. No wonder, when we took the 3 spiritual flowers in the stone forest of Nanzhou province, those people from Jiangnan province were so arrogant and domineering, and didn't take people from other provinces and cities seriously. So, people here are like this. Su Chen sneered. However, a person's confidence has nothing to do with the city they live in, but comes from their own strength. Back in Shilin City, Nanzhou province, the second generations of the 4 major families in Jiangnan province were so arrogant, but in the end they were taught a lesson, and obediently paid 15 million. Later, the 4 major families also sent masters of the divine realm to attack me during the battle of Kingsang Mountain, and in the end 2 died, and 2 begged for mercy. The greatest confidence of a person is always his own strength. Su Chen thought secretly. Suddenly, he thought of something. Oh, right. Back in Kingsang Mountain, Feng Horan, a divine realm expert from the Feng family in Jiangnan province, and Zheng Bi, a divine realm expert from the Zheng family, both owed me 20 spiritual herbs for their lives. Zheng Bi said that her money was in the hands of her brother and sister-in-law, and she wanted a grace period of half a month, and the date set by Feng Horan was 3 days, and now the time should be about the same. Su Chen narrowed his eyes. Zheng Bi was hard to say, and Feng Horan seemed to have some other ideas. If I have time, I should ask Feng Horan for an account. A cold light flashed in Su Chen's eyes. Thinking all the way, Su Chen soon arrived at the booked hotel. There are still a few days before the auction starts. Su Chen wants to stay in the hotel first and find out how to participate. Hangyan Hotel. This is the hotel Su Chen booked in advance. It is not a 5-star hotel, but it is clean and affordable enough. Su Chen just stepped into the hotel. Then, he saw an extremely beautiful woman, carrying a suitcase, and walking out with her head down. Su Chen was stunned. Just because, he was very familiar with the woman in front of him. Yeo Nana? Su Chen exclaimed in surprise. This hotel is of such a low grade, why would Yeo Nana stay here? First update. Chapter 955. Do you believe it? Su Chen was very surprised. What a coincidence. He and Yeo Nana were both from Dongzhou province, but they met in Jiangnan province. More importantly, with Yeo Nana's identity, it was unlikely that she would appear in such a hotel. Although the hotel Su Chen booked was clean and hygienic, but Yeo Nana's identity was the jewel in the crown of the Yeo family in Dongzhou province. It can be said that with her identity as the princess of the Yeo family, she would never consider a hotel that was not a 5-star hotel. Now, how could she appear in this Hangyan hotel, which is not even a 3-star hotel? Yeo Nana was startled when she heard Su Chen's shout. She looked up at Su Chen and was stunned for a moment. Su Chen? Ah, it's really you. The next second, Yeo Nana's face was full of surprise. She threw down the box and ran towards Su Chen excitedly. Bang! Yeo Nana hugged Su Chen directly and jumped excitedly. Su Chen only felt that a ball of cotton was pressed in front of him. Calm down first. Su Chen slowly pushed Yeo Nana away. Yeo Nana was held down by Su Chen, but she still asked excitedly, Ah. Su Chen, why is it you? I'm so surprised. Why did you come to Xianjiang? Are you here to see me? Su Chen smiled. You think too much. I came here for some personal matters. What's wrong with you? Why did you come to Jiangnan province? Yeo Nana pouted and said, you are still so annoying. Can't you make me happy and say that you came to Jiangnan province because of me? Su Chen smiled. These women are really strange. They know it's fake, but they still like to hear such words. Yeo Nana continued, I came to Xianjiang because my grandfather's family is from here. This time, I came to see my grandfather. Su Chen heard this and asked in confusion, why didn't you stay at your grandfather's house? Staying in this hotel is not in line with your status as the daughter of the Yeo family. Su Chen's face was full of teasing. Hearing this, Yeo Nana suddenly looked annoyed. She waved her hands and said, don't mention it. My uncle and my cousin insisted on introducing me to a blind date. I was annoyed to death by that annoying guy, so I ran away to live here. That annoying guy's family is very powerful. If I live in a luxury hotel, he will find me soon. Even if it's a small hotel like this, I have to change frequently. Otherwise, that bastard will find me soon. Su Chen laughed. He didn't expect that the princess of the Yeo family, who was so high and mighty in Dongzhou province, would have to run around here for such a thing. You're still laughing. Seeing Su Chen like this, Yeo Nana was so angry that she patted him twice. Then, she turned her eyes and said cunningly, now that you are here, I don't have to change hotels anymore. Su Chen paused and immediately understood what Yeo Nana meant. He rolled his eyes and said, you want to use me as a shield? Who asked you to come to me from afar? Yeo Nana's eyes were smiling like crescents. Su Chen had no choice but to nod. Yeo Nana continued, also, my grandpa is seriously ill. Although my uncle has found a miracle doctor on the saint hand list, I'm still a little worried. If you have time, can you come with me to see my grandpa? In terms of medical skills, Yeo Nana obviously trusts Su Chen more. Su Chen nodded, no problem. Su Chen, you are so good. As she spoke, Yeo Nana was about to pounce on Su Chen again and hug him tightly. Su Chen's face was full of helplessness. At this moment, a cold shout came. Yeo Nana, what are you doing? Hearing this voice, Yeo Nana's face changed. Su Chen turned his head and looked. Outside the door of Hangan Hotel, there was a young man with a sinister look. At this moment, he was looking at Su Chen with resentment. Behind this young man, there was a middle-aged man in black tights. Yeo Nana's face changed, and she quickly whispered to Su Chen, Su Chen, I'm hiding from this bastard. The young master of the Ren family in Xianjiang City, Ren Yuanfei. The middle-aged man next to him is his personal bodyguard. Ren Yuanfei's face was gloomy. He pointed at Yeo Nana and said angrily, Yeo Nana, I couldn't find you anywhere, and yet you are fooling around with a man in this hotel. I thought you were a chaste and virtuous woman, but it turns out you are such a scumbag. Yeo Nana's face changed and she retorted, Ren Yuanfei, watch your mouth. I told you a long time ago that I don't have any feelings for you. I also told you a long time ago that I have a boyfriend, but you just didn't believe it. Now, you see, this is my boyfriend Su Chen. Besides, it's none of your business if I check into a room with my boyfriend. Ren Yuanfei was very angry and cursed. Bullshit. Your cousin Jiang Xiangxing told me that you don't have a boyfriend at all. You fucking just randomly brought a man here and want to fool me, right? Bah. Yeo Nana spat directly. Ren Yuanfei, you take yourself too seriously. I'm also looking for a boyfriend for you. Is it worth my effort? I'm telling you, Su Chen is my boyfriend. He's also from Dongzhou, and we've been together since Dongzhou province. Don't you believe it? Look carefully. As she spoke, Yeo Nana hugged Su Chen's neck and kissed him on the face. Pa. Her soft lips fell on Su Chen's face like a dragonfly touching the water. Su Chen's whole body froze, his face full of confusion. But Yeo Nana just blinked at him. They separated in an instant. Yeo Nana turned her head and looked at Ren Yuanfei provocatively. How about it? Do you believe it now? In an instant, Ren Yuanfei's face turned red with anger. Second update. The next update will take about 20 minutes. Chapter 956 Auction News. In a flash, Ren Yuanfei was almost furious. All along, Ren Yuanfei, could get any woman he wanted in the blink of an eye. Women would only take the initiative to pounce on him when they saw him. As a result, Yeo Nana from Dongzhou province not only avoided him, but also kissed another man in front of him. In Ren Yuanfei's opinion, this was simply a slap in his face. Bitch, you are so cheap. Ren Yuanfei pointed at Yeo Nana and cursed. Su Chen's face darkened, and he said in a cold voice, keep your mouth clean. Ren Yuanfei looked at Su Chen with an incredulous face. Boy, what the hell did you say? Su Chen said in a deep voice. I told you to keep your mouth clean. Don't get yourself into trouble. Ha ha ha. Ren Yuanfei laughed in anger. You are a stinky boy from Dangzhou province. Dare to teach me how to do things? I think you are looking for death. As he spoke, Ren Yuanfei said to the middle-aged man beside him, Mr. Sun, please teach this bastard a lesson. Knock out this kid's teeth, and I'll see if his mouth is clean. On the side, the middle-aged man in black tights smiled coldly. Leave it to me, Master Ren. As soon as the voice fell, Mr. Sun stepped hard with his feet. Boom. Then, his figure was like a rock spreading its wings, and he flew directly into the air. The surging mysterious energy gathered on his legs and kicked towards Su Chen. Puff. A sonic boom sounded in the air. Ren Yuanyang looked arrogant. Mr. Sun is a master at the peak of Zhuanjin and has great hope of breaking through the Xiantian realm and becoming a Yuan Qi master. Moreover, Mr. Sun also used his most proficient Yunfeng kick. Under the Yuan Qi master, almost no one can stop him. On the other hand, Su Chen was motionless, looking as if he was scared silly. Humph. Idiot. Ren Yuanfei sneered in his heart. He seemed to have seen the scene in the next second that Su Chen's head was kicked and his teeth were knocked out. However, the next moment, Ren Yuanfei's smile froze on his face. Bang. Su Chen just raised his hand slightly and firmly grasped Mr. Sun's leg. Puff. The Zhuanjin condensed in the leg, like a leak, instantly broke apart. Mr. Sun was stunned. He mobilized all his Zhuanjin and tried to break free. However, Su Chen's big hand was like an iron clamp, tightly grasping his leg, making it difficult for him to move at all. Asshole. Mr. Sun's face changed, and he was about to kick Su Chen with his other foot. But Su Chen did not give him this chance again. Su Chen sneered, and like a whip, he grabbed Mr. Sun's leg and threw him to the ground. The mysterious energy that Mr. Sun had just condensed collapsed again in an instant. Bang. Mr. Sun was thrown directly to the ground. Crack. The sound of bone fractures rang out. Ah. Mr. Sun screamed. At this moment, half of his bones were fractured. Several ribs were broken. Su Chen sneered. Go back. Then, he threw it casually. Mr. Sun's figure flew back immediately. Ren Yuanfei was still stunned in the same place, and then he saw Mr. Sun flying back. I don't know if it was a coincidence or Su Chen did it on purpose. Mr. Sun's foot flew straight towards Ren Yuanfei's face. Bang. Ah. Ren Yuanfei screamed, and then he was kicked away by Mr. Sun. The two rolled on the ground for several circles like rolling gourds. Ah. You bastard. Ren Yuanfei struggled to get up from the ground and pointed at Su Chen and cursed. Puff. Puff. Suddenly, he opened his mouth and spat out several teeth. Su Chen said coldly, I knocked out a few of your teeth, just to teach you a lesson. If you dare to spit shit again, I will knock out all your teeth, and see if your mouth can be cleaner. You. Ren Yuanfei was so angry that he wanted to curse. In the end, he still covered his mouth and dared not speak. On the other side, Mr. Sun also climbed up. He looked hideous and painful. He could feel that many bones in his body were broken. Mr. Ren, don't fight for your feelings. He is the master of Yuan Qi. Mr. Sun reminded him hurriedly. Ren Yuanfei was shocked and looked at Su Chen in disbelief. At this moment, he realized what kind of ruthless character his opponent was. A good man never suffers a loss in front of him. Okay, I'll remember you. You wait. Ren Yuanfei left a cruel word and quickly pulled Mr. Sun away in disgrace. Ha ha ha. Yao Nana laughed out loud. It's so cool to see this bastard get beaten. I've been annoyed to death by him these days. Because of him, I don't even dare to go to my grandpa's house. Su Chen smiled helplessly. You are happy I have offended someone again for no reason. And, he is a second generation kid. Yao Nana smiled and said, it's okay. Anyway, you are not from Xianjiang. At worst, you can run back to Dangzhou province. Su Chen shook his head. No, I have to stay here for a few days. What are you going to do here? Yao Nana asked. Su Chen said, I heard that there will be an auction in Xianjiang city in a few days, and the specifications are very high. There may be something I need in it. I want to go and participate. Yao Nana said, I know, you are talking about the Langhu auction in Xianjiang, right? Su Chen was slightly surprised. The information given by the spirit god of the secret god of the tiger god was indeed the Langhu auction. But he didn't expect that Yeonana actually knew about this auction. Seeing Su Chen's surprised expression, Yeonana looked very proud. Haha. Are you surprised? In Xianjiang, Langhu auction is very famous. But its participation qualification is also very high. Only families and forces with a good reputation in Xianjiang have the opportunity to get the invitation letter of Langhu auction. Su Chen frowned slightly when he heard this. In this case, it would be quite troublesome for him to participate. At this time, Yeonana smiled and said, "But, Su Chen, don't worry. My grandfather's family is in Xianjiang, and they are also famous. They have an invitation letter. If you can help my grandfather cure his illness, my uncle and his family will definitely be willing to take you to participate." Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. It's easy to find something after searching everywhere. He was thinking about where to inquire about the news of this auction, but he met Yeonana, and he even solved the problem of the invitation letter of the auction. "Okay, leave your grandfather's illness to me." Su Chen smiled. The third update is here. Thank you all for your support. Good night. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 957 New Chips. Yeonana was overjoyed. It's a deal. Before, Yeonana had been worried about her grandfather Jiang Hango's condition. She originally wanted to contact Su Chen and ask him to come to Xianjiang, the capital of Jiangnan province, to treat her grandfather. But her uncle said that he had already contacted a genius doctor on the Saint Hand list. Yeonana was also worried about causing trouble for Su Chen, so she gave up. But deep down, Yeonana obviously believed in Su Chen more than the so-called genius doctor on the Saint Hand list mentioned by her uncle. Yeonana knew very well in her heart that even the genius doctors on the Saint Hand list were vying to worship Su Chen as their master. In the field of medicine, no one is better than Su Chen. This is a point that Yeonana firmly believes in. "Let's go. I'll take you to see my grandfather," Yeonana said excitedly. Su Chen smiled and refused. "Why are you in such a hurry? I still have to stay in Xianjiang province for a few days. I'll check in at the hotel first." Yeonana slapped her forehead. "Oh, I was too anxious and forgot about it." Then, she turned her head to look at the surrounding layout of the Hangan Hotel, frowned slightly and said, "Are you going to live in such a low-end hotel? It's not worthy of your status." Su Chen smiled and said, "I'm not a rich lady like you. What status do I have? Besides, even you can stay in this kind of hotel. What can I be picky about?" Yeonana curled her lips and said, "That's different. I'm trying to avoid that annoying guy. Forget it. Let's not talk about him. Let's check in quickly. When everything is done, I'll take you to my grandfather's house." As she spoke, Yeonana picked up her luggage again and walked to the front desk. Su Chen asked doubtfully, "Aren't you going to leave this hotel?" Yeonana smiled and said, "I wanted to leave quickly before to avoid that bastard Renuanthri. Now, you live in this hotel. It's the safest place. Only a fool would leave. If I want to leave, I have to wait until I'm sure that grandpa is okay, and then I can leave Jiangnan province directly." After that, Yeonana opened 2 rooms at the front desk again. Then, she took Su Chen to put the luggage on the other side, in a luxury business car. Ouch. Screams came out. Ren Yuanfei covered his face and groaned in pain. Blood flowed out of his mouth from time to time. "Yeonana, you little bitch, I gave you face, but you actually treated me like this. Not only did you avoid me, but you also let your lover beat me. Just wait, I won't kill you if I don't play you to death." His whole face was full of resentment. On the side, Mr. Sun covered his abdomen and reminded Master Ren, Yeonana's identity is not simple. She is the daughter of the Yeo family in Dongzhou province. In terms of status alone, she is not much worse than you. Speaking of which, it's just that her grandfather's family, the Jiang family, has a lower status in Xianjiang city. Ren Yuanfei snorted coldly, "I fucking know." If this bitch didn't have the Yeo family in Dongzhou province as a background, I would have raped her long ago. But, her lover must die. Mr. Sun frowned slightly. Master Sun, that kid is probably even more complicated. At such a young age, he is already a master of the innate realm. I'm worried that he must have power behind him. Bullshit. Ren Yuanfei shouted angrily. Only he has power. Don't I have a background behind me? Looking at Ren Yuanfei with a furious face, Mr. Sun didn't dare to interrupt anymore. Ren Yuanfei suppressed his anger and said in a cold voice, didn't you hear what that bitch said? That kid is from Dongzhou province. In the eyes of our Jiangnan province, is there any major force worthy of praise in the entire Dongzhou province? Humph. Besides, as long as I arrange people to do it secretly and kill that kid without anyone knowing, who the hell can find out that it was me? Mr. Sun nodded and asked, then who are you going to let do this? He Changlang. Ren Yuanfei spit out 3 words lightly. Mr. Sun's eyes lit up immediately. This is a good choice. Ren Yuanfei's face was full of pride. The Changlang martial arts school under He Changlang is full of masters. Besides, he has always acted without fear. Even if he kills that guy, no one can guess that it was arranged by me. I want to let that bastard know. In Jiangnan province, if you are a dragon, you have to coil up for me. If you are a tiger, you have to lie down for me. Mr. Sun nodded. Okay. I'll call He Changlang right now. Yes. Give him 20 million yuan as a fee. Ren Yuanfei nodded. I have to call Jiang Xiangxing too. As he spoke, Ren Yuanfei also dialed a number. Soon, the call was connected. A flattering voice came over. Hello, Brother Fei? Is the address I gave you correct? Have you found my cousin? The owner of this voice was Yeo Nana's cousin, Jiang Xiangxing. However, Jiang Xiangxing responded with a scolding. Jiang Xiangxing, fuck you. You fucking told me your cousin doesn't have a boyfriend and is still a virgin. But now, she is living with another man in a hotel. Fuck you. Are you kidding me? Just wait. I'll make you know what regret is. Jiang Xiangxing was stunned. He hurriedly said, Brother Fei, what's going on over there? I'm not lying to you. My cousin Yeo Nana really doesn't have a boyfriend. Fuck you. I saw them kissing with my own eyes, and you're still talking nonsense to me. Jiang Xiangxing hurriedly said, Brother Fei, don't be angry first. I'll find out what's going on. Don't worry, even if my cousin has a boyfriend, my dad and I will break them up. My cousin is definitely yours. Don't worry. Ren Yuanfei snorted coldly. Jiang Xiangxing, you'd better remember what you said. Your grandfather is going to die soon. Once Jiang Hango dies, your Jiang family is bound to decline. If you can't do this well, don't blame me for not playing with you. Jiang Xiangxing quickly assured. Hey, Brother Fei, don't worry. I will definitely send my cousin to you. Beep beep beep. Ren Yuanfei hung up the phone directly. The first update is here. Chapter 958. Stop it, you bastard. Jiang Xiangxing held the phone, his face gloomy. The biggest supporter of the entire Jiang family is the connections of old man Jiang Hanguo. Now the old man is terminally ill and in danger. If the old man finally passes away, the Jiang family must find a new thigh in time, otherwise half of the family business will definitely be lost. Jiang Xiangxing and his father Jiang Chenghua both think that the Ren family is a good way. Therefore, they use Yeo Nana as a bargaining chip and try their best to promote Yeo Nana and Ren Yuanfei. Although the Yeo family is one of the 8 major families in Dongzhou province, but distant water cannot quench immediate thirst. Moreover, if Yeo Nana can really succeed with Ren Yuanfei, perhaps the Jiang family can get help from both the Yeo family and the Ren family. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing, father and son, made a lot of calculations, but they did not estimate Yeo Nana's thoughts at all. Jiang Xiangxing's face was gloomy, and he dialed Yeo Nana's mobile number. In the Hangan Hotel. Ding-ling-ling. Ding-ling-ling. Yeo Nana's phone kept ringing, but Yeo Nana just glanced at it and had no intention of answering the call. Su Chen looked at her in surprise and said, your phone is ringing. Do you think I'm deaf? Yeo Nana rolled her eyes. Then, she reached out and took the phone. Snap. Directly rejected. Turned off. Yeo Nana looked up at Su Chen. Okay, it's not ringing now. Su Chen. He gave Yeo Nana a thumbs up. Puchy. Yeo Nana was amused and explained, "It's my cousin Jiang Xiangxing's call. I'm in this hotel. He must have told Renuanthi. This time I came to visit grandpa. He and my uncle are like crazy. They insisted that I date that bastard Renuanthi. It's crazy." Su Chen laughed. "I think so too." Yeo Nana laughed even more happily. "Okay. Let's not talk about them. Let's go to see my grandpa." As she spoke, Yeo Nana took Su Chen and left. Very quickly, the two took a taxi and came to a villa area on the outskirts of the city. Although it is also a villa area, it is relatively ordinary in terms of location and decoration. Su Chen clearly realized that the assets and status of the Jiang family are really just average. Of course, this is compared with the 8 major families in the provincial capital of Dongzhou. Compared with ordinary wealthy families, it is still much stronger. The nanny and security guard in the villa are very familiar with Yeo Nana, and they did not stop them. The two walked into the villa smoothly and went directly to the second floor, in Jiang Hanguo's room. At this time, Jiang Hanguo was dying and lying on the hospital bed. I saw that his face was black and purple, and his whole body was swollen. Even if he was breathing oxygen, he still exhaled more and inhaled less. Various medical devices were inserted into Jiang Hanguo's body. "Grandpa." Seeing Jiang Hanguo like this, Yeo Nana's eyes instantly turned red. She turned her head to look at Su Chen and asked, "Su Chen, how is my grandpa?" Su Chen's mental power swept over and instantly grasped Jiang Hanguo's condition. He said in a deep voice, "Your grandpa's condition is not optimistic. He probably had a lung injury in his early years, and then he didn't pay attention to protecting it. Over the years, part of his lung has been necrotic." Yeo Nana nodded. "Yes. The doctors in the hospital said so too. They also said that the process of lung necrosis is irreversible, and my grandpa can't be saved." Su Chen shook his head and said lightly, "That's not necessarily true. In fact, it's not difficult to treat him." This is not Su Chen's bragging. As long as he uses the 9 extreme life transforming needle to stimulate the vitality in Jiang Hanguo's body and then supplement it with the longevity energy, the necrotic lung can be completely reversed. This is not difficult for him. But for other doctors, it is as difficult as ascending to heaven. Yeo Nana immediately became excited. "Su Chen, are you serious? Please save my grandpa." Su Chen smiled and nodded. "Okay." As the voice fell, Su Chen took out the medical stained golden needle, stepped forward, and prepared to start treatment. At this moment, an angry shout came. "Stop!" Bang! The door of the room suddenly slammed open. A fat and short middle-aged man rushed in. "Uncle," Yeo Nana called respectfully. The man was Yeo Nana's uncle, Jiang Chenghua. Da. He rushed forward quickly and pushed Su Chen aside. "What do you want to do to my dad?" Jiang Chenghua glared at Su Chen. Yeo Nana hurriedly introduced the two to each other. "Uncle, this is my friend, Su Chen. Su Chen, this is my uncle Jiang Chenghua." Su Chen nodded slightly. "Hello, Mr. Jiang." However, Jiang Chenghua was not in a good mood at all. He stared at Su Chen and said coldly, "You haven't explained to me yet. What did you want to do just now?" Su Chen frowned slightly. Jiang Chenghua's attitude is really not good. Yeo Nana hurriedly explained, "Uncle, it's like this. Su Chen's medical skills are very good. I called him here to treat grandpa." Before Yeo Nana finished speaking, Jiang Chenghua interrupted immediately. "Nonsense." He pointed at Su Chen and said angrily, "Your grandpa's illness cannot be cured by many famous doctors in many hospitals. This kid doesn't look older than your cousin, and you actually believe him. Not only that, you even let him treat your grandpa. I think you are crazy." Yeo Nana defended, "Uncle, I'm telling the truth. Su Chen's medical skills are really amazing. My grandpa almost died twice, and he saved him both times. And my dad fell from the building last time, and the doctor issued a critical illness notice, but it was Su Chen who rescued my dad. Su Chen's medical skills are much better than those so-called miracle doctors. Even the miracle doctors on the saint hand list have to worship him as their master." Listening to Yeo Nana's introduction, Jiang Chenghua felt a little dizzy. He looked at Su Chen, then compared it with Yeo Nana's introduction, and felt that the two did not match up. "Is everything you said true?" Jiang Chenghua asked doubtfully. Seeing that Jiang Chenghua was somewhat moved, Yeo Nana immediately struck, while the iron was hot, and said, "Uncle, of course it's true. How could I joke about grandpa's illness?" Jiang Chenghua looked at Su Chen and said slowly, "Then you can try it." Su Chen nodded and didn't care. He was about to step forward. Suddenly, another loud shout came. "Asshole! Stop it. The second update is here." The next update will be about half an hour later. Chapter 959. Can't touch her. "Asshole! Stop it." Another loud shout came. Everyone in the room turned their heads to look. A young man rushed in. "Cousin?" Yeo Nana frowned slightly. The man was Jiang Chenghua's son, Jiang Xiangxing. Jiang Xiangxing rushed directly to Su Chen, and pushed Su Chen away. "Get out. Stay away from my grandpa." Jiang Xiangxing cursed. Su Chen frowned. Although the patient was Yeo Nana's grandfather, but he, Su Chen, was not in a hurry to treat people. Being interrupted and pushed away again and again, even a clay man would be angry. If these two people were not Yeo Nana's relatives, Su Chen would probably just walk away. Yeo Nana's face was also not looking good. It was not easy to persuade her uncle to agree, but this annoying cousin showed up again. "Cousin, what are you doing?" "Su Chen is the miracle doctor I invited to treat grandpa. Why are you so rude?" Yeo Nana scolded. Jiang Chenghua also looked at Jiang Xiangxing. "Xiangxing, what are you doing? Stop fooling around." "I'm fooling around." Jiang Xiangxing sneered. He pointed at Yeo Nana fiercely and shouted angrily, "Yeo Nana is fooling around, and her boyfriend who came out of nowhere. You're pretending to be a miracle doctor to treat grandpa. Haha. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. You just want to win some favor for your boyfriend in front of my dad." Jiang Chenghua frowned. He asked, "Xiangxing, what do you mean? Su Chen is your cousin's boyfriend? Who told you that?" Jiang Xiangxing smiled coldly and said, "Dad, you don't know yet, right? Let me tell you, my cousin pretends to be as innocent as a white lotus in front of us, saying that she doesn't have a boyfriend. In fact, she has had a boyfriend for a long time. Moreover, she brought her boyfriend Su Chen to Jiang. She moved out these 2 days, just to hang out with her boyfriend." Jiang Chenghua's face became more and more gloomy. Jiang Xiangxing struck, while the iron was hot, and said, "Dad, didn't we introduce Ren Yuanfei, the young master of the Ren family, to her for her own good? What was the result? Yeo Nana not only avoided him, but also instigated her boyfriend Su Chen to beat up Ren Yuanfei. Young Master Ren had several teeth knocked out. This account is being held against our Jiang family. Now, Yeo Nana asked Su Chen to come and treat grandpa, just pretending. She just hoped that we would protect him in front of the Ren family." Jiang Chenghua's face was as dark as ink assholes. He pointed his finger at Su Chen and Yeo Nana. "You two, you even beat up young Master Ren. In the end, you still had wild ideas and wanted to pretend to treat the old man to seek protection. You are so audacious. Lawless." Jiang Chenghua's fingers trembled. It was unknown whether he was angry or scared. Yeo Nana said, "Uncle, don't listen to my cousin's nonsense. This is just his one-sided words. The truth of the matter is not like this." "Bullshit." Jiang Xiangxing asked back, "How dare you say that you didn't beat Ren Yuanfei?" Yeo Nana's expression froze. Then, she argued, "Su Chen did beat Ren Yuanfei, but does this have anything to do with whether Su Chen is a miracle doctor? Su Chen's medical skills are very good. He cured my grandfather and my father, and it's all true. As long as he takes action, grandpa's illness will definitely be cured." Jiang Chenghua glared at Yeo Nana. "I just want to ask you, did you beat Master Ren?" Yeo Nana felt a little guilty. Finally, she admitted, "Yes, we beat him up. But he was the first to attack Su Chen. We were acting in self-defense." "Asshole." Jiang Chenghua yelled, "That's not a reason for you to beat him up. Do you know that this will bring disaster to our Jiang family? Go and apologize to Master Ren." Seeing Jiang Chenghua's attitude, Yeo Nana was even more dissatisfied. "I won't." Yeo Nana gritted her teeth and said, "I'm not wrong. Besides, I'm here to take Su Chen to my grandfather for treatment, not to apologize to Ren Yuanfei." Jiang Chenghua was furious. "You." He raised his hand suddenly and was about to hit Yeo Nana. In the blink of an eye, A slap hit Yeo Nana's face hard. Yeo Nana was startled. She didn't expect that her uncle would suddenly attack her. Yeo Nana was a little dazed. She watched the slap get closer and closer to her face. However, the next second, a strong force hit. Yeo Nana retreated back in a split second and avoided Jiang Chenghua's slap. At this moment, Su Chen's figure was already blocking Yeo Nana. Yeo Nana looked dazed, with a look of gratitude in her eyes. Su Chen patted her shoulder to comfort her. Jiang Chenghua's slap missed, and he immediately became furious. He glared at Su Chen. "Boy, I'm teaching my niece a lesson, and you dare to interfere?" Su Chen said indifferently. "I don't care who you are to Yeo Nana, but in front of me, no one can touch her." Looking at Su Chen's hidden figure in front of her, Yeo Nana felt a little sweet and touched. Jiang Xiangxing pointed at Su Chen and said angrily, "Boy, you are so arrogant in my house." As he spoke, Jiang Xiangxing wanted to take action. Su Chen looked over coldly, and his whole body was condensed, and did not emit. In an instant, Jiang Xiangxing was struck by lightning. At this moment, he felt like he was being stared at by a prehistoric beast. Jiang Xiangxing suddenly remembered, Su Chen had beaten up Ren Yuan. Wasn't it like delivering food to him? Thinking of this, Jiang Xiangxing quickly took 2 steps back. He rolled his eyes and said to Jiang Chenghua, "Dad, look at this Su Chen. He beat up Master Ren and is going to beat me." Jiang Chenghua said angrily, "Yeo Nana, Su Chen, are you going to make a scene in our Jiang family today?" Su Chen said indifferently, "I have no interest in making a scene in your Jiang family at all. If it wasn't Yeo Nana's grandfather lying here, I wouldn't have come here at all. Now, let me cure the old man's illness first. As for the Ren family's affairs, I will solve it myself." Su Chen's words were powerful. The third update is here. It's a bit late. Sorry. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 960. Kowtow to you. Su Chen's words were powerful. Jiang Xiangxing interrupted, "Dad, don't believe him. He just wants to get closer to our Jiang family. If we let him treat Grandpa, Ren Yuanfei will only think that we are in the same group. Besides, he is just a young boy. Can he cure Grandpa? At most, he is pretending." Jiang Chenghua nodded after hearing this. He pointed at Su Chen and said, "You beat Master Ren, which is a disaster for our Jiang family. Now, get out of the Jiang family immediately. Don't come to our Jiang family again." Yeo Nana looked aggrieved. "Uncle, get out," Jiang Chenghua said angrily. Yeo Nana had no choice but to pull Su Chen away. Su Chen looked at Jiang Chenghua coldly. "The old man has lung necrosis. No one in the world can cure it except me. Now, you can say harsh words freely. When you want me to treat him again, you will have to kneel down and beg me." Jiang Chenghua sneered. "What an arrogant boy. Except for you, no one can cure my father? Haha, how funny. Who do you think you are? Even the miracle doctors on the Saint Hand list dare not say this. If that day really comes, I will knock my head and bleed to ask you to help." Su Chen glanced at him indifferently. "That day will come." After that, Su Chen turned and left. Yeo Nana was very angry. She looked at Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing with hatred. Su Chen said that only he can treat it, then only he can treat it. Grandpa is going to be killed by you two. When Grandpa is gone, I think the Jiang family will sooner or later be defeated by the short-sighted eyes of you two. After scolding the two, Yeo Nana turned around and left, catching up with Su Chen. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were scolded bloody. "Asshole." Jiang Chenghua was so angry that he jumped up and down. He shouted and scolded loudly, "Yeo Nana, you ungrateful bastard. I'm your uncle. You dare to talk to me like this? You are unfilial. You are oblivious." On the side, Jiang Xiangxing added fuel to the fire and said, "Dad, you see it? This dead girl has gone crazy. She even dared to scold you for her lover. Isn't she just the eldest daughter of the Yeo family in Dongzhou province? In our Jiangnan province, she is nothing. Look how powerful she is." Jiang Chenghua took several deep breaths in a row before calming down. However, his face was still gloomy. Jiang Xiangxing advised, "Dad, don't be angry. It's not worth getting angry with this little girl." Jiang Chenghua shook his head and said, "I'm not angry with Yeo Nana, but I'm worried about what Su Chen said. What if what he said is true, and your grandfather really passed away, then our Jiang family will be in danger. Before Jiang Chenghua finished speaking, Jiang Xiangxing laughed. Dad, do you really believe that kid's nonsense? He just said something harsh to save face. Besides, haven't you contacted the miracle doctor on the Saint Hand list? Jiang Chenghua nodded. He said with a smile on his face, I have invited our Xianjiang's #1 doctor, Meng Xiu, who is ranked 14th on the Saint Hand list. He and his son have already flown back from other provinces. With Meng Xiu treating your grandfather, the disease should be cured. That's right. Jiang Xiangxing smiled. Dad, don't let your imagination run wild. If you have this time, you might as well see when Dr. Meng will arrive. Jiang Chenghua smiled and said, just now, I have contacted Dr. Meng, and he will be at our Jiang family soon. Let's get ready to welcome Dr. Meng. On the other side, Su Chen and Yeo Nana came out of the Jiang family villa. Yeo Nana looked frustrated. She walked up to Su Chen, bowed her head and apologized. Su Chen, I'm sorry. I didn't expect that my uncle and cousin would be such people. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't. Before she finished speaking, Su Chen smiled and waved his hand. What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with you. Yeo Nana's eyes were red, and her voice was a little choked. I wanted to help you get an invitation to the Langhu auction and cure my grandfather's illness by the way. It was supposed to be the best of both worlds, but now. Su Chen smiled. Okay. Don't think so much. Let's go back to the hotel first. Yeah. Yeo Nana nodded dejectedly, then stretched out her hand to hail a taxi. Just as Su Chen and Yeo Nana got in the car and left, two figures appeared outside the Jiang family villa. If Su Chen was there, he would definitely recognize these two people. They were Meng Xiu and Meng Fiayu, who had met once at Xianjiang airport. Meng Xiu stood in front of the Jiang family villa, but his eyes looked in the direction where Su Chen's taxi left. Dad, what are you looking at? Why don't you come in? Meng Fiayu asked curiously. Meng Xiu slowly retracted his gaze and asked in confusion. Just now, a man and a woman got on a taxi. The young man seemed to be Mr. Su Chen. Hearing this, Meng Fiayu rolled his eyes. He complained. Dad, on the way from Xianjiang airport to the Jiang family villa, you have mentioned Su Chen's name for nearly 800 times. I think your symptoms are more serious now. You can see him when you see a young man. Meng Xiu kicked Meng Fiayu. How many times have I told you that you are not allowed to call Mr. Su Chen by his full name in the future? You must respect him as Mr. In the future, he will become your master. If it is because of you that I cannot become your disciple, I will beat you to death. Meng Fiayu covered his buttocks with a look of despair. Oh, I know. At this time, Meng Shen doctor, you are finally here. Two figures with smiles on their faces ran out to greet them. It was Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing. Drive Meng has arrived, and my humble home is honored. Jiang Chenghua and his son saluted respectfully. In Xianjiang province, Meng Xiu is a well-known doctor. In their opinion, with Meng Xiu's help, Jiang Hanguo will definitely recover. At that time, the decline of the Jiang family can be avoided. The father and son bowed and saluted, very respectful. However, Meng Xiu was very casual in front of the Jiang father and son. He nodded slightly, as a greeting. This perfunctory attitude was completely different from when he was in front of Su Chen. The first update is here. Chapter 961, Medical Master. Meng Xiu's face was calm. He nodded slightly and said, take me to see the patient. The Jiang family father and son did not take Meng Xiu's cold attitude as an offense. Hey, okay, follow me. Jiang Chenghua bowed slightly and accompanied him on one side. Jiang Xiangxing was trotting in front to lead the way. Meng Xiu's face was calm and he followed. Behind him, Meng Fiayu also had a proud look on his face. Not only in Xianjiang, but even in the entire southeast province, Meng Xiu's status in the medical community can act like this. Others not only dare not find fault, but also have to flatter and serve him well. Soon, the four of them came to Jiang Hanguo's room again. Drive Meng, this is my father, please treat him. Jiang Chenghua said respectfully. Yes. Meng Xiu nodded slightly. Then, he stepped forward to examine and feel Jiang Hanguo's pulse. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing looked at Meng Xiu expectantly. Meng Xiu checked the pupils, tongue coating, and chest. As the examination progressed, Meng Xiu's face became more and more ugly. Seeing this, Jiang Chenghua and his son were worried. Finally, Meng Xiu stood up slowly. "How is it, Dr. Meng?" Jiang Chenghua asked worriedly. Meng Xiu frowned and shook his head. "It's not optimistic. The old man's physical condition is very poor, especially his lungs. It can be said that he is almost exhausted." Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were shocked. They looked at each other and remembered Su Chen's words. Su Chen also said that Jiang Hanguo's lungs had been partially necrotic. Meng Xiu continued, "To what extent has it deteriorated? I need to do further examination." As he spoke, Meng Xiu took out several long silver needles. Then, he inserted the silver needles into different parts of Jiang Hanguo's chest. A few seconds later, Meng Xiu pulled out the silver needles and sprinkled some medicine powder on them. Soon, half of the silver needles turned black. Alas, it is as expected. Meng Xiu sighed. Jiang Chenghua asked quickly, "Meng, how is my father?" Meng Xiu said, "Based on the situation of the silver needle, the old man's lungs have been partially necrotic. This process is extremely difficult to reverse." Jiang Chenghua was shocked. What Meng Xiu said was exactly the same as what Su Chen said. However, Su Chen only looked at Jiang Hanguo a few times and came to this conclusion. Meng Xiu did a lot of various tests. Could it be that Su Chen's medical skills are really amazing? As soon as this idea came into being, it took root in Jiang Chenghua's heart. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Dr. Meng, can you cure my dad?" Meng Xiu thought for a moment and said, "If it was before today, I would definitely say no. But I'm lucky today and met a great doctor. With his guidance, my Big Dipper needle finally broke through the fifth needle." Jiang Chenghua exclaimed, "Isn't it impossible? You are already the #1 doctor in Jiangnan province. How can someone guide you?" Meng Xiu shook his head. "There are always people who are better than you. The doctor who guided me today was the one I met at Xianjiang airport. He should be a doctor from another province." Jiang Chenghua nodded. "I see." Meng Xiu asked, "Now, if I use the Big Dipper needle to treat Mr. Jiang, perhaps I can have a chance to extend Mr. Jiang's life for a few years. But there is also a certain probability that his condition may worsen. You decide whether you want me to treat you." Meng Xiu directly gave the choice to Jiang Chenghua. Jiang Chenghua was very conflicted. He thought that with Meng Xiu around, Jiang Hanguo would definitely be saved. But he didn't expect that, even if the divine doctor on the saint hand list took action, Jiang Hanguo might still die. If Jiang Hanguo died, the Jiang family would lose most of their connections and would most likely be devastated. If possible, Jiang Chenghua would like to invite the medical expert who instructed Meng Xiu to come and treat Jiang Hanguo personally. However, Jiang Chenghua had relied on a lot of connections to invite Meng Xiu. He felt that he should not be able to invite such a medical expert. It's just, Jiang Chenghua could never have imagined that the medical expert Meng Xiu mentioned was Su Chen, who was driven away by him personally. Meng Xiu did not urge him, but looked at Jiang Chenghua quietly. Finally, Jiang Chenghua gritted his teeth and said, "Dr. Meng, I'm going to trouble you for my father's help." Meng Xiu said in a deep voice, "I've told you in advance that, even if I take action, the patient's condition may worsen. You must be prepared. Don't blame me later." Jiang Chenghua nodded heavily. "I dare not. Ask Dr. Meng to take action." Now, for the Jiang family, Meng Xiu is the strongest doctor they can invite. Meng Xiu nodded. He took the silver needle and took action directly. Star 13 needles. Big Dipper star needle. Meng Xiu quickly inserted the needle. Puff, puff, puff. One needle after another. Soon, it was the fifth needle. Meng Xiu's face showed hesitation. Before, he had been stuck on this needle. At this time, Su Chen's words rang in Meng Xiu's mind. Zhangji acupoint is a little special. When you apply acupuncture, you must insert the needle into Zhangji acupoint together with Guanyuan acupoint, and both must be 1.5 inches apart, without the slightest deviation. Meng Xiu took out 2 silver needles, aimed at Zhangji acupoint and Guanyuan acupoint, and inserted them simultaneously. 1.5 inches. Not a millimeter off. Suddenly, the pain on Jiang Hanguo's face suddenly subsided, and his face became visibly ruddy. "It works." Jiang Chenghua was overjoyed. However, Meng Xiu's face was not happy. He thought that Jiang Hanguo would wake up after the 5th injection of the Big Dipper star needle. But now it seems that Jiang Hanguo's condition is much more serious than he judged. In this way, his treatment will not only fail to cure Jiang Hanguo, but will stimulate the disease to flare up. Trouble. Meng Xiu exclaimed. Sure enough. The next second. Ah! Jiang Hanguo screamed. Then, he spurted out a mouthful of blood, and the pain on his face became even more serious. Jiang Chenghua's face changed drastically in an instant. Meng Xiu was also a little panicked. In an instant, Su Chen's appearance appeared in his mind. Otherwise, ask Su Chen for help. The second update is here. The next update will be in about half an hour. Chapter 962 Fulfilling the Promise. Jiang Chenghua panicked. Although Meng Xiu had said before that there was a probability of failure. But when the reality came, he still found it hard to accept it. However, even so, Jiang Chenghua did not dare to lose his temper with Meng Xiu. Not to mention, Meng Xiu had already reminded him. Just based on Meng Xiu's connections in Jiangnan province, Jiang Chenghua did not dare to act rashly because of his failure. Drive Meng, what happened to my dad? Please save my dad. Jiang Chenghua could only beg. Meng Xiu's face showed worry. He hurried forward and removed all the silver needles. Then, he changed to a set of gentle acupuncture techniques to help Jiang Hanguo maintain his life. At this time, Jiang Hanguo was like a candle in the wind and could die at any time. Meng Xiu said in a deep voice, I just said that, even if I take action, I may fail. Now it seems that, even if I learn the 5th needle of the Big Dipper needle, I can't save Mr. Jiang. Jiang Chenghua looked anxious. Then what should I do? Dr. Meng, please, think of a way. Meng Xiu frowned for a moment and said, now, there are only 2 ways. Jiang Chenghua was overjoyed when he heard it. Tell me quickly. As long as our Jiang family can do it, I will do it, he urged. The first way is to find a spiritual medicine. Meng Xiu said solemnly, Mr. Jiang, his lungs are necrotic and his vitality is failing. If we can find a spiritual medicine with strong vitality in time to strengthen his body and replenish his essence, maybe he can extend his life for a few months. Jiang Chenghua was a little disappointed when he heard it. Can it only extend his life for a few months? Meng Xiu said, the question now is not how long the spiritual medicine can extend Mr. Jiang's life, but whether you can find it. As far as I know, in recent days, all the spiritual medicines on the market in Jiangnan province have been bought by someone. Even if you want to buy it, I'm afraid you can't buy it. Jiang Chenghua was shocked. He quickly took out his mobile phone and arranged for his men to inquire about the news. Soon, a reply came. There is no spiritual medicine on the market in Xianjiang. And the family that collects spiritual medicines is not an ordinary person, but the Feng family and the Zheng family standing at the top of the pyramid in Jiangnan province. Although, it is unknown what the Feng family and the Zheng family are going to do. But Jiang Chenghua's desire to get spiritual medicine from them is nothing but a foolish dream. Meng, please tell me the second solution. Now, Jiang Chenghua can only hope for the other solution, Meng Xiu said. Meng Xiu said in a deep voice, the second solution is to ask the medical expert who taught me the Big Dipper star needle to help. Hearing this, Jiang Chenghua's eyes lit up. Is that medical expert in our Xianjiang city? Jiang Chenghua blamed Meng Xiu in his heart. If he had known that he could invite that medical expert, why did he do it so recklessly? However, he didn't dare to say this. Meng Xiu didn't know what Jiang Chenghua was thinking. He continued, I met that medical expert in the arrival hall of the airport. According to my inference, he should be coming to our Xianjiang. Then please ask Meng. Please invite him quickly. No matter what price he asks, our Jiang family will agree. Old man? Meng Xiu glanced at Jiang Chenghua. He is not an old man. He is much younger than me. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were both shocked. On the side, Meng Fiu secretly rolled his eyes. Then you should contact him quickly. Jiang Chenghua no longer bothered about the age issue, but urged anxiously. Meng Xiu said, wait a moment. I need to find other people first, and ask for Mr. Su Chen's mobile phone number. As he spoke, Meng Xiu picked up his mobile phone, and walked aside to call Yuan Qianhua. But Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were stunned on the spot. The father and son turned their heads stiffly, and looked at each other. Jiang Xiangxing swallowed and asked, Dad, did you hear it clearly just now? What is the name of the medical expert that Dr. Meng mentioned? Jiang Chenghua's face was pale. Okay, it seems to be Su Chen. It should be a homonym. Jiang Chenghua's voice was a little trembling. Yes, it must be a homonym. Jiang Xiangxing echoed. However, the hearts of the father and son were pounding. Younger than Meng Xiu, from another province, named Su Chen. Putting these conditions together, they don't seem to have the same name at all. What if it's really that Su Chen? Jiang Chenghua thought of the harsh words he said to Su Chen, and his eyes suddenly darkened. Soon, Meng Xiu got Su Chen's mobile phone number from Yuan Qianhua. He walked back and said to Jiang Chenghua, okay, I've got Mr. Su Chen's number, I'll call him now. Jiang Chenghua smiled but didn't smile, nodded, yeah. Meng Xiu looked at Jiang Chenghua with some surprise. However, he didn't think much about it, but directly dialed Su Chen's mobile phone. In the Hangan Hotel. Ding-ling-ling. Su Chen's mobile phone rang. He looked down and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. Su Chen picked up. Who is this? Meng Xiu's excited voice came from the other side. Mr. Su, I'm Meng Xiu. I got your contact information from Miss Yuan Qianhua. Sorry to bother you. Su Chen looked helpless. He almost forgot about Yuan Qianhua. What do you want to talk to me about? Su Chen said helplessly. Meng Xiu said quickly, Mr. Su, thank you for teaching me the Big Dipper needle. However, I have encountered a difficult case now. I have used the 5th needle of the Big Dipper needle, but it not only did not cure the patient, but it stimulated the patient's condition. The patient is now on the verge of death. I would like to ask you to save the patient. You can ask for the consultation fee or something. Su Chen thought about it and sighed helplessly. Okay. Tell me the address. I'll go there right away. Meng Xiu was overjoyed. Thank you, Mr. Su. The address is number 4, Langjiao Xiangsha Villa District, Suburban District, Jiang Family Villa. The patient is the old patriarch of the Xianjiang Jiang family, Jiang Hongguo. Su Chen was stunned when he heard this. Then, a sneer appeared on his face. Jiang family? Haha. Su Chen immediately changed his words. If it's the Jiang family, then I'm sorry I can't do anything. Before, I tried to treat Jiang Hongguo, but was stopped by Jiang Chenghua. Jiang Chenghua and his son told me to get out of the Jiang family, and said that I would never be needed to treat Jiang Hongguo. By the way, Jiang Chenghua also said that, if he changed his mind, and asked me to help, he would kneel in front of me, and kowtow until he bled. After saying that, Su Chen hung up directly. Beep beep beep. Meng Xiu listened to the hang-up sound in the receiver, and his mind was a little confused. On the side, Jiang Chenghua came over with trepidation and asked cautiously, Meng Xian doctor, what did the medical master say? Jiang Xiangxing also looked nervous. Meng Xiu came back to his senses. He looked at Jiang Chenghua coldly. Huh? What did you say? You still have the nerve to ask what you said? Mr. Su Chen said that he came to treat your old man before. In the end, he was driven away by you and told to get out of the Jiang family. Didn't you say that you would kowtow and bleed to ask him to help? Now, you can go and fulfill your promise. Boom. Jiang Chenghua and his son were stunned, as if struck by lightning. It turned out that it was really the same person. The third update is here. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. I will try to update more later. Chapter 963 The Hardest Person. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were confused. Although they had already guessed it, but they still kept a little hope in their hearts, hoping that the Su Chen they drove away was not the same person as the Su Chen Meng Xiu mentioned. However, things developed in the worst direction. Meng Xiu looked at the two coldly. You two are really great. A medical expert like Mr. Su Chen can make me make a great breakthrough in medicine with just a few words. As a result, such an expert was rejected by you. If I had known that you would treat Mr. Su Chen like this, I shouldn't have taken this job from your family. Meng Xiu had a mocking look on his face. He then threw his sleeves and turned to leave. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing suddenly became anxious. Drive Meng, don't leave. If you leave, what will happen to my dad? Jiang Chenghua looked anxious. Meng Xiu said coldly, the only miracle doctor who can save your father has been driven away by you. Even if I stay here, what's the point? If you really want Jiang Hangguo to wake up, go and ask Mr. Su Chen. Hearing this, Jiang Chenghua's face was full of entanglement. But I said too much before. If I don't kowtow and bleed, I'm afraid Su Chen won't come to treat my father. Do you know, now that you said such harsh words? Meng Xiu showed a mocking look on his face. Since you said it yourself, you have to bear the consequences. Jiang Chenghua's face was ugly. Although the Jiang family is not a first-class family in Xianjiang, it is also well known. And he, Jiang Chenghua, is respected as Mr. Jiang wherever he goes. Now, he has to kowtow to a young man in his early 20s. Jiang Chenghua was extremely unwilling. However, at this moment, cough cough, cough cough, on the hospital bed, Jiang Hangguo coughed several times in a row. Puff. Jiang Hangguo spurted out another mouthful of blood. Among them, there were also necrotic tissues that were not distinguished by black. Beep, beep. A harsh whistle sounded from the medical equipment beside. Dad. Grandpa. Suddenly, Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing turned pale with fear. Meng Xiu's expression changed drastically. He stepped forward quickly, took out the silver needle again, and inserted it into the acupuncture points around Jiang Hangguo. After working for a long time, Jiang Hangguo's condition finally eased. However, his face became even more grey. It seemed that he might die at any time. Jiang Chenghua looked at Meng Xiu and asked anxiously, Dr. Meng, how is my dad's condition? Meng Xiu said in a deep voice, the treatment just now did not restore Mr. Jiang's body, but stimulated the disease. I estimate that the old man can only hold on for another 1 or 2 hours at most. If you don't kowtow to Mr. Su Chen and apologize, then prepare for the old man's funeral. Bang. Jiang Chenghua's legs softened, and the whole person almost fell to the ground. On the side, Jiang Xiangxing came over to support Jiang Chenghua. Dad, why don't you go and ask that Su Chen for help? If grandpa is in trouble, our Jiang family will probably be finished. When that happens, I will be looked down upon by my second generation friends when I play with them again. Jiang Xiangxing advised. Hearing this, Jiang Chenghua was immediately furious. He stepped forward and kicked Jiang Xiangxing hard. Bang. Jiang Xiangxing's body flew out in an instant, rolling on the ground for several rounds before stopping. In an instant, Jiang Xiangxing was covered in dust, and his face and hands were also scratched, revealing traces of blood. The blood and dust mixed together, and he looked very embarrassed. He looked at Jiang Chenghua with a puzzled look on his face. Dad, why did you hit me? Jiang Chenghua pointed at Jiang Xiangxing and gritted his teeth and said angrily, why should I hit you? If you, a little bastard, hadn't run in to stop him, Su Chen would have cured your grandfather. You are a bastard who is more likely to cause trouble than to do anything, and you still have the nerve to say this to me. Jiang Chenghua was so angry that his fingers kept shaking. Before, when Yao Nan led Su Chen to treat Jiang Hangguo, he had almost agreed to the two of them. As a result, just when Su Chen was about to take action, Jiang Xiangxing rushed in and told him about Su Chen beating Ren Yuanfei and persuaded him not to let Su Chen treat Jiang Hangguo and drive them away. Now it's alright. Now I'm forced to kowtow to Su Chen. This bastard actually has the nerve to persuade me. Jiang Xiangxing lowered his head and did not dare to argue. Jiang Chenghua pointed at Jiang Xiangxing and said angrily, little beast, from today on, all your pocket money will be deducted. Also, I will kowtow to Su Chen to apologize later, and you have to kowtow too. Did you hear me? Jiang Chenghua roared, and Jiang Xiangxing trembled all over. He said timidly, okay. After venting his anger at Jiang Xiangxing, Jiang Chenghua's depression was relieved a little. He turned around and said to Meng Xiu, Meng, I listen to you. I will go to Mr. Su Chen to apologize now. Yes. Meng Xiu nodded. The group hurried out and rushed to the Hangyan Hotel. Hangyan Hotel. Su Chen hung up the phone with a mocking smile on his face. The miracle doctor invited by Jiang Chenghua turned out to be Meng Xiu. This made Su Chen feel a little coincidental. But Su Chen knew in his heart that with Meng Xiu's medical skills, even if he had mastered the fifth needle of the Big Dipper needle, he could not cure Jiang Hangguo. Because Jiang Hangguo's lungs were severely necrotic, he could only be cured completely with powerful acupuncture and a huge amount of vitality. But Meng Xiu couldn't do that. As long as Jiang Chenghua didn't want Jiang Hangzhou to die, he had to come to beg him. At this moment, dong dong dong, there was a knock on the door. Su Chen showed a thoughtful smile on his face. He got up and opened the door. There stood a beautiful woman outside. It was Yao Nana. At this moment, Yao Nana's eyes were red and she looked like she had cried. Su Chen let Yao Nana into the room. "What's wrong?" Su Chen asked. Yao Nana hesitated. Then, as soon as she opened her mouth, tears flowed down. "Su Chen, I still want to ask you to treat my grandpa. I know it was my uncle and cousin who were wrong. They were so rude to you and made you suffer. But I really don't want my grandpa to die like this. My grandpa has loved me since I was a child. I don't want him to die because of my uncle and them. Woo woo, Su Chen, please help me save my grandpa. When my grandpa wakes up, I will let him teach my uncle and cousin a lesson, okay?" Yao Nana cried bitterly. It seemed that she had been struggling for a long time. In the whole thing, Yao Nana was the most conflicted person. She didn't want Su Chen to suffer any grievances, but she also didn't want to watch her grandpa die like this. Su Chen smiled. The first update is here. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 964. The generations are too confused. Seeing this, Su Chen smiled and said, "Is it worth crying for such a small matter? But I don't want to see you being wronged." Yao Nana choked up. "My uncle, they are really too much." Su Chen smiled and said, "Don't worry. I will treat your grandpa." Yao Nana was stunned. "Are you serious?" Su Chen nodded. Yao Nana burst into laughter. Then let's go quickly." Su Chen shook his head slightly. "Don't worry. Wait a little longer." "Wait for what?" Yao Nana asked. Su Chen said lightly, "Wait for your uncle to kowtow." Yao Nana hurriedly said, "No, Su Chen, you don't know. My uncle has a very stubborn temper. And he has always been arrogant. How could he kowtow to you?" Su Chen smiled without saying anything and pointed to the door. Yao Nana was startled and turned to look. The next second, dong, 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 a knock on the door sounded. Then, it was Jiang Chenghua's voice. "Excuse me, is Mr. Su Chen here? I'm Jiang Chenghua. I brought my son to apologize to you. Please, as a doctor, treat my father's illness." Yao Nana was stunned for a moment. She put her hand over her mouth, her face full of shock. Su Chen said calmly, "Apologize? Just do what Mr. Jiang said at the time." Outside the door, it suddenly became quiet. Soon, plop, plop, two kneeling sounds were heard. Then, bang, 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 the continuous kowtow sounded. After more than 10 times, the sound stopped. Jiang Chenghua's voice rang again. "Mr. Su, my son and I have kowtowed and bled. Please help me treat my father." As soon as the voice fell, the door of the room suddenly opened. The figures of Su Chen and Yao Nana appeared at the door. The two looked up. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were kneeling straight at the door of the room. Meng Xiu and Meng Fiyu stood aside obediently without saying a word. Seeing Su Chen coming out, Meng Xiu smiled and bowed slightly to Su Chen. Su Chen ignored Meng Xiu and looked at Jiang Chenghua and his son. At this time, their foreheads were red and swollen, and blood was flowing down. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Jiang Chenghua and his son looked up. Seeing Su Chen and Yao Nana, they looked extremely embarrassed. Before in the Jiang family villa, they arrogantly drove Su Chen and Yao Nana away. In a blink of an eye, the roles of both parties have been reversed. At this moment, they knelt in front of Su Chen and begged Su Chen to help. For the arrogant Jiang family father and son, this is a painful torture. But in order for Jiang Hangzhou to survive, and for the Jiang family not to decline, they had to do so. Jiang Chenghua forced a smile and said to Yao Nana, "Nana is here too. Please persuade Mr. Su. We have all kowtowed and admitted our mistakes. Let Mr. Su go and treat your grandfather." Jiang Xiangxing also quickly echoed, "Yes, yes, yes. Cousin, we already know we are wrong. Please save grandpa." Yeo Nana felt very happy when she heard this. She looked at Su Chen with gratitude. Su Chen said lightly, "Then let's go." As soon as the voice fell, Su Chen and Yeo Nana walked away directly. Meng Xiu hurriedly followed. He came up to Su Chen and smiled flatteringly. "Mr. Su, we are really destined to meet." As he spoke, Meng Xiu kicked Meng Fiao in the butt. "Are you dumb? Don't you know how to say hello to your master when you see him?" Meng Fiao looked aggrieved. "You want to flatter Su Chen. Why do you take it out on me?" However, he didn't dare to say this. Meng Fiao's face was dark, and he forced out a smile that was uglier than crying. "Master. Hello, master." Su Chen looked pained. Oh my god. His current generation is really too messed up. The two old men, Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan, chased him and called him master. Zhang Tian, the contemporary Xianqi of Zhou Wanqiu and mansion in Xianqi Mountain, called him uncle master. Cheng Xiansun, the seventh master of the Cheng family, a Feng Shui master family in Shangjing, called him big brother. Now, another Meng Fiao, who is older than him, came out and called him master. "I'm not your master," Su Chen said with a dark face. Meng Fiao's face was happy. However, Meng Xiu was smiling. Don't worry, you will change your words sooner or later." As he spoke, he scolded Meng Fiao again. "Why are you standing there like an idiot? Go and drive. Let your master take our car." Oh. Meng Fiao responded, and could only drive reluctantly. Su Chen and Yeo Nana sat in the back seat of Meng Xiu and his son's car. Jiang Chenghua and his son drove behind them obediently. Along the way, Meng Xiu sat in the co-pilot seat, kept turning back to please Su Chen, and proposed that he wanted to become his apprentice. Su Chen felt helpless. He felt that he should have chosen to sit in Jiang Chenghua and his son's car. At least, those two people would not be so annoying. Yeo Nana, who was standing aside, saw Su Chen's helpless look, and covered her mouth and laughed secretly. Su Chen was willing to treat Jiang Hanguo, and Yeo Nana was relieved, and in a better mood. With Su Chen's intermittent responses, everyone returned to Jiang Hanguo's ward again. "Mr. Su, I'm not good at learning. Not only did I fail to cure Mr. Jiang, but I aggravated his condition." Meng Xiu pointed at Jiang Hanguo with an embarrassed look on his face. Su Chen shook his head. "Although your big dipper star needle can also stimulate vitality, the strength is not enough. As far as I know, there should not be many acupuncture methods that can stimulate vitality more powerfully than the big dipper star needle, right?" Meng Xiu asked doubtfully. There was a bit of pride in his words. The 13 star needles is the medical skill that Meng Xiu relies on to become famous. He is naturally full of confidence and unwilling to admit defeat. Su Chen glanced at him indifferently. "You are surprised by what you have seen." Meng Xiu did not refute, but he was slightly dissatisfied. Su Chen smiled and did not explain. He took out the medical saint's golden needle and waved his hand. The next second, one after another, the golden needles broke through the air. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. It landed on Jiang Hanguo's body with great precision. In an instant, the light flowed. A strange aura slowly flowed around Jiang Hanguo's body. The next second, the vitality in Jiang Hanguo's body suddenly burst out. Meng Xiu opened his eyes wide and cried out, "This is the 9 extreme life-changing needle. Is this golden needle the medical saint's golden needle?" The second update is here. The next update, about 20 minutes later. Chapter 965 finally done. Meng Xiu was suddenly stunned. Whether it was the 9 extreme life-changing needle or the medical saint's golden needle, they both shocked him. Before, at Xianjiang Airport, after being instructed by Su Chen, Meng Xiu already understood that Su Chen's medical skills were better than his. However, even so, he only felt that he was only a little bit worse than Su Chen. He even suspected that Su Chen might have obtained the complete inheritance of the Star 13 needle somewhere, so he could instruct him in acupuncture. Meng Xiu was eager to worship Su Chen as his teacher, and he just wanted to learn from Su Chen, so that he could thoroughly master the Star 13 needles. However, at this moment, after Su Chen took out the 9 extreme life-changing needle, a long-lost ancient medical technique, Meng Xiu finally realized the gap between himself and Su Chen. And the medical saint's golden needle, a legendary medical magic weapon, made Meng Xiu's brain go blank. It turns out that the gap between me and Mr. Su is so big. Meng Xiu smiled bitterly. With the medical inheritance of the 9 extreme life-changing needle and the medical saint's golden needle, the medical inheritance behind Su Chen is simply scary. However, he thought about it. The better Su Chen's medical skills are, the more he can learn from him, right? Suddenly, Meng Xiu's eyes suddenly lit up. Su Chen, who was treating Jiang Hanguo, had no idea of Meng Xiu's mood swings. He stretched out his hand, urged the longevity energy, and gently stroked the end of the medical saint's golden needle. But, suddenly, the golden needle trembled. The longevity energy with great vitality instantly passed into Jiang Hanguo's body along the golden needle. In an instant, the vitality in Jiang Hanguo's body became more and more intense. Not long after, the grey color on his face slowly faded, and a trace of red rose. Su Chen formed seals with both hands, and then quickly tapped various parts of Jiang Hanguo's chest. Finally, he slapped his fat part. Puff. Jiang Hanguo opened his mouth and spit out a mouthful of thick blood. Among them, there were pieces of black dirt. What are you doing? Jiang Chenghua was startled and asked Su Chen hurriedly. Su Chen looked at him calmly. Cure illnesses and save lives. If you don't like it, come and save people. As he said this, Su Chen withdrew his hand and was about to stand aside. Jiang Chenghua's face was embarrassed. He quickly apologized. I'm sorry, Mr. Su, I'm too concerned. Su Chen looked at him coldly. Then, he stepped forward to take off the gold needles on Jiang Hanguo's body and then tied Jiang Hanguo's shirt. Jiang Chenghua wanted to ask, but didn't dare to provoke Su Chen. At this time, Yeonana asked, Su Chen, how is my grandpa? Su Chen said calmly, don't worry. He's fine now. Yeonana breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, Jiang Xiangxing said, how is he fine? Isn't my grandpa still in a coma? He had just finished speaking. Ahem. A cough sounded, and Jiang Hanguo's eyes slowly opened. Su Chen pointed at Jiang Hanguo, and Jiang Xiangxing suddenly looked embarrassed. Grandpa. Dad. Grandpa. Yeonana, Jiang Chenghua, and Jiang Xiangxing all rushed to Jiang Hanguo. The three of them surrounded Jiang Hanguo, crying and laughing. Yeonana cried out of pure family affection. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing had more complicated emotions. As long as Jiang Hanguo didn't die, the Jiang family would have a big tree to protect them, and his connections would prevent the Jiang family from declining. In this way, Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing's status in Xianjiang could continue to be maintained. Jiang Hanguo looked at the three people crying together, and he vaguely understood what had happened. Okay, stop crying, I'm fine, right? Jiang Hanguo said with a smile. Then, he looked at Meng Xiu and Su Chen. Jiang Hanguo said to Meng Xiu in gratitude, Mr. Meng, this time, thanks to you for pulling me back from the brink of death. I will never forget your life-saving grace. Please accept my greetings. As he spoke, Jiang Hanguo sat on the bed, clasped his hands, and saluted Meng Xiu. Meng Xiu smiled awkwardly. He waved his hands and said, no, no, Mr. Jiang, I'm ashamed to say that not only did I not cure you, but I almost made your condition worse. It was not me who saved you. The one who really brought you back to health was Mr. Su Chen. As he spoke, Meng Xiu pointed at Su Chen. Jiang Hanguo was stunned when he heard this. He looked at Su Chen in surprise. Yeonana introduced proudly, Grandpa, Su Chen is my good friend. Don't look at his young age, but his medical skills are very powerful. My father and my grandfather were both saved by him. Thanks to him this time, otherwise you would be in real danger. Meng Xiu also echoed, yes. Mr. Su Chen's medical skills are amazing. If it weren't for him, it would be difficult for you, Mr. Jiang, to survive this. Jiang Hanguo hurriedly clasped his fists and bowed, saying, sure enough, heroes emerge from youth. I didn't expect that Mr. Su, so young, has such medical attainments. Chenghua, quickly prepare 10 million, and give it to little friend Su Chen as a consultation fee. Jiang Chenghua was reluctant, but he had to do it. At this time, Su Chen said, Mr. Jiang, Nana and I are friends. You are her grandfather. It is my duty to treat you. It is awkward to talk about money. Jiang Chenghua heard this, and felt extremely contemptuous. Now, Su Chen's words sounded good. Before, when he asked me to kneel down and kowtow, he was not so easy to talk to. Jiang Hanguo smiled and said, let's put it this way. Even if you are Nana's friend, you still have to get the medical fee. Su Chen looked at Yao Nana. Yao Nana reacted immediately. She said to Jiang Hanguo impulsively, Grandpa, Su Chen said he doesn't want money, so you don't have to give it to him. This guy's actually not short of money. If you really have to thank him, I have an idea. Su Chen is very interested in the Langhu auction in a few days. Why don't you let him participate through the Jiang family's invitation letter? I wonder if it's okay. Jiang Hanguo smiled slightly and said, such a small matter is naturally no problem. When the time comes, I will let Xiangxing notify you and take you to participate. As he spoke, Jiang Hanguo turned his head and looked at Xiangxing. Xiangxing, did you hear that? Xiangxing was reluctant in his heart, but he could only nod and agree quickly. Okay. In the Jiang family, Jiang Liu has the most authority and always keeps his word. Su Chen breathed a sigh of relief. The auction was finally settled. At this time, Jiang Hanguo's eyes swept over Xiangxing and Jiang Chenghua. He frowned slightly and asked, Chenghua, Xiangxing, what happened to your forehead? Why is it bleeding? In an instant, Jiang Chenghua and his son's faces changed slightly. The third update is here. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 966 Wishful Thinking. When Jiang Hanguo asked about the scars on the two men's heads, everyone was stunned. Especially Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing. They were even more embarrassed. Before, the two kowtowed to Su Chen to apologize at the Hangan Hotel, and their foreheads bled. Although the wound was not particularly large, and the two washed it after returning home, there were still some clues left. At this moment, when asked by Jiang Hanguo, Jiang Chenghua and his son didn't know how to explain. However, Yao Nana didn't give them any face. Grandpa, I was just about to tell you. Yao Nana stepped forward. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing looked ugly and kept staring at Yao Nana. However, Yao Nana ignored the two and spoke directly. Grandpa, you don't know how much your uncle and cousin have gone too far. Before, I brought Su Chen to the Jiang family once and asked him to treat you. But what happened was that your uncle and cousin obstructed us and scolded us, asking us to get out of the Jiang family. Besides, your uncle also said that he would never let Su Chen treat you. Yao Nana chattered and told the whole process again. Jiang Hanguo's face suddenly became darker and darker. Bang! Jiang Hanguo slammed the table. He glared at Jiang Chenghua and his son and shouted angrily, "Arseholes! You two arseholes! You just want me to die, right?" Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing trembled in fear. Puff! The two knelt directly on the ground. Dad, you are the pillar of our Jiang family. I dare not think so. I just think Su Chen is too young, so I'm afraid that he will treat you badly. Jiang Chenghua quickly explained. Jiang Xiangxing also said quickly, yes, yes, yes. Grandpa, we are all thinking about your safety. Jiang Hanguo glared and cursed. Bullshit. You two are just afraid that after I die, the Jiang family will decline. So, you want to flatter the Ren family. You actually want to have a bad idea and push your cousin to that dandy Ren Yuan. Don't you think I can't see it? Is that what I taught you? Jiang Hanguo was so angry that he blew his beard and glared. Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing were exposed, lowered their heads, and dared not to argue. You two, kneel down and wait. I'll deal with you later. Then, Jiang Hanguo turned around and apologized to Su Chen. Mr. Su Chen, I'm really sorry for making you suffer. My useless son and grandson are really too much. Seeing that Jiang Hanguo understood the righteousness, Su Chen's anger also dissipated a little. He clasped his fists slightly. Mr. Jiang, you are too polite. Jiang Hanguo still looked apologetic and said, Mr. Su, I will prepare another 30 million for you as compensation. As he spoke, he glared at Jiang Chenghua fiercely. Little beast, hurry up and prepare it. Jiang Chenghua didn't dare to talk nonsense and quickly got up and prepared to get the money. Su Chen waved his hand and said, Mr. Jiang, there is no need to do this. As long as you can let me participate in the Langhu auction in a few days, it will be a great help to me. Jiang Hanguo raised his hand to stop him and said, what you said is not a help. With your medical skills, Mr. Su, it is easy to get an invitation letter. You must accept this money. Otherwise, I, an old man, will feel guilty. Soon, Jiang Chenghua came over and handed over a check respectfully. Su Chen wanted to refuse, but Jiang Hanguo insisted. Yaonan are also advised. Su Chen, please accept it. My grandpa is the person who doesn't want to owe favors to others. If you don't accept it, my grandpa may not be able to eat well or sleep well in the next few days. Jiang Hanguo laughed. He looked at Yaonan lovingly. You little girl still understands me the best. Then I will be disrespectful. Seeing this, Su Chen had to accept it. After that, Jiang Hanguo quickly arranged for the servants to prepare a banquet. He wanted to personally entertain Su Chen and Meng Xiu and his son. As he spoke, Jiang Hanguo got down from the bed directly. Meng Xiu hurriedly said, Mr. Jiang, your body has just recovered, so it's not advisable to move too much. However, Jiang Hanguo smiled. He got off the bed, raised his arms, and moved his legs. Mr. Meng, it's okay, I feel I'm in good health. Meng Xiu said with some concern. Mr. Jiang, how about we check it again? Jiang Hanguo looked at Su Chen. Su Chen said calmly, Mr. Jiang's health has basically recovered. If Mr. Meng is worried, you can check it out. In the end, Meng Xiu stepped forward to check Jiang Hanguo's health. However, Meng Xiu was shocked soon. Because Jiang Hanguo's physical condition was very good. He didn't look like a person who had just recovered from a serious illness. Meng Xiu used silver needles again to test Jiang Hanguo's lung necrosis. What shocked him was that this time Jiang Hanguo's lungs were full of vitality without any necrosis. How is this possible? Meng Xiu was a little stunned when he saw the test results. He thought that Su Chen only temporarily pulled Jiang Hanguo back from the brink of death. But he didn't expect that Su Chen directly cured Jiang Hanguo's lungs completely. What kind of method is this? It can be called a resurrection from the dead. For a moment, the look in Meng Xiu's eyes when he looked at Su Chen was no longer simple respect, but admiration. Ha ha ha. Jiang Hanguo laughed. Drive Meng, I told you. My body has fully recovered. Let's go. Let's take our seats. Jiang Hanguo strode towards the Jiang family restaurant. Everyone was seated. Before the banquet, Jiang Hanguo was in a very good mood and kept thanking Su Chen. Meng Xiu took this opportunity to toast Su Chen and ask for medical knowledge. Su Chen was not shy either. He gave a few casual pointers, and the problem that had troubled Meng Xiu for several years was solved. After a few questions, Meng Xiu had a sense of enlightenment, as if he had cleared the fog and saw the blue sky. Although the others did not understand the content of the conversation between Su Chen and Meng Xiu, when they saw that after Su Chen gave a casual pointer, Meng Xiu was so excited that he danced with joy. They also realized how amazing Su Chen's medical skills were. The first update is here. I set the wrong time just now. Everyone please refresh the page. The order is wrong. Chapter 967 Give you reward. The atmosphere of the whole banquet was very harmonious. Everyone was smiling. However, there were two exceptions, Jiang Chenghua and Jiang Xiangxing. The two of them huddled in a corner and dared not speak. The banquet ended, and both the host and the guests were happy. Su Chen said goodbye and left. Jiang Hanguo said, Mr. Su, why don't you stay at my Jiang's house? When the Langhu auction starts, I will have someone take you there. At this time, Meng Xiu also said, Mr. Su, I think you should stay at my place. My clinic is very large, and there are many rooms. We can also discuss medical issues. When you want to attend the Langhu auction, I will take you there. Jiang Hanguo laughed and said, Drive Meng, your wishful thinking is too loud. The abacus beads are about to fall on my face. Are you asking Su Chen to live with you? Aren't you finding a private tutor for yourself? Meng Xiu was not embarrassed either. He chuckled. How could I miss a senior master? With Su Chen's medical skills, no matter which family or other major forces, they would try to please him. Even Meng Xiu, a genius doctor on the divine hand list, was no exception. In fact, he was more eager than others. Su Chen looked at the two and declined. Thank you for your kindness. However, I have already settled down outside, so I won't bother you anymore. Mr. Jiang, I'll leave my contact information. When the Langhu auction comes, you can have someone contact me again. Hearing this, the two no longer insisted. Meng Xiu saw that his plan failed and looked regretful. He turned around and kicked Meng Fiao in the ass. Meng Fiao was confused. Dad, why did you kick me? Why kick you? Meng Xiu glared. You have no eyesight at all. We are all leaving. Why don't you drive and get ready to take Mr. Su Chen back? Meng Xiu said unhappily. Meng Fiao looked miserable and hurried to drive obediently. When his father's evil plan failed, he took it out on himself. As a son, there was nothing he could do. Soon, Meng Fiao drove over. The Meng father and son drove Su Chen and Yeo Nana back to Hangan Hotel again. The car stopped. Su Chen and Yeo Nana stepped out of the car. Looking at the average conditions of Hangan Hotel, Meng Xiu said with a thief's heart, Mr. Su, why don't you come with me to stay in the clinic? The conditions of my clinic are much better than this hotel. Su Chen smiled and refused. No, this hotel is good. Meng Xiu looked helpless. He rubbed his hands and said again, then Mr. Su, what do you think about my apprenticeship? Su Chen directly refused. Don't mention it. I'm only staying in Xianjiang for a short time, and I don't have time to accept disciples. Meng Xiu looked regretful. Then, he said pitifully, Mr. Su, if I encounter a difficult medical problem, can I ask you for advice? Also, if I encounter a difficult patient, can I ask you for help? Looking at Meng Xiu's pleading face, Su Chen sighed with excitement. Yes, but I still say that it is only limited to the few days I'm in Xianjiang. Su Chen made a concession. Okay. Meng Xiu was overjoyed. Mr. Su, you should rest early. I won't disturb you. After receiving a satisfactory answer, Meng Xiu and his son drove away. Yeo Nana smiled and said, congratulations, you have conquered another genius doctor on the saint hand list. Su Chen shrugged. Forget it. I would rather not have such a conquest. Yeo Nana covered her mouth and laughed. I knew that you are the most afraid of trouble. The two chatted and returned to the hotel room. Su Chen and Yeo Nana's doors were facing each other. When the two walked to the door, Su Chen turned around to open the door. At this time, Yeo Nana suddenly grabbed Su Chen. What's wrong? Su Chen looked at Yeo Nana. Yeo Nana raised her head and looked at Su Chen seriously. Su Chen, thank you. Su Chen smiled. We are friends. Isn't it okay to say these things? Yeo Nana's eyes flickered. She bit her teeth lightly, as if she had made a decision. The next second, she suddenly moved closer to Su Chen and tiptoed. At this moment, ding-ling-ling, a cell phone rang, and Yeo Nana suddenly woke up. Suddenly, her pretty face flushed, and she quickly picked up the phone. It was Jiang Hango calling. Hello, Grandpa, what's wrong? Yeo Nana asked. Su Chen was a little surprised, not knowing why Jiang Hango suddenly called. On the other side, Jiang Hango didn't know what he said, and Yeo Nana's face was a little unhappy. However, Su Chen didn't feel embarrassed to eavesdrop on the call between the grandfather and grandson. Finally, okay, I know. Yeo Nana hung up the phone and pouted slightly. Su Chen asked, what's wrong? Yeo Nana looked unhappy. Because the company has important matters to deal with, I have to rush back to Dongzhou province tomorrow, so my grandfather asked me to live in the Jiang family today. Su Chen nodded. This is what I should do. You moved out, just to avoid that young master of the Ren family. Now, your grandfather has woken up, and your uncle and cousin dare not do anything. Go back. Yeo Nana looked at Su Chen with resentment and said, you are so annoying, you don't even know how to keep me. Su Chen touched his nose. Your grandfather has just recovered, you can spend more time with him. Humph. Yeo Nana snorted coldly, and then stepped hard on Su Chen. Then, she went back to the house to pack up, and dragged her suitcase out again. Su Chen walked downstairs with her, and took a taxi. Soon, the suitcase was put on the taxi. Yeo Nana was about to get into the car again. Suddenly, she turned around and walked towards Su Chen again. Su Chen was a little confused. Yeo Nana said, Su Chen, I wanted to thank you just now, but my grandpa's phone call interrupted me. Now, I want to thank you again. As she spoke, she suddenly lifted her feet and put her arms around Su Chen's neck. Bang! She kissed Su Chen hard on the face. This is a reward for you. I'm done thanking you. After that, Yeo Nana got into the car with a red face. "Driver, let's go," she urged. The car disappeared in a flash. Su Chen touched his face and smiled helplessly. Then, he turned around and walked towards the Hangan Hotel again. Suddenly, Su Chen stopped. He looked at a corner. "Who is it? Get out. The second update is here. Everyone refresh the page. The order is wrong. Next update." Half an hour later. Chapter 968, Changlong Martial Arts School. Su Chen looked coldly at the dark corner. Dap, dap, dap. The crisp footsteps sounded. A middle-aged man in a black robe walked out slowly. Su Chen's eyes were slightly fixed. He was about 50 years old, with short hair and a very energetic look. His whole body was full of vitality, just like a master of vitality in the middle stage of the Xianshan realm. What surprised Su Chen was that the aura of this middle-aged man was sharp, like a sharp sword. The middle-aged man looked at Su Chen with sharp eyes, as if he was staring at his prey. He had a sneer on his face, and said in a hoarse voice, "Good boy. It's really not simple. You found me so quickly." Su Chen said lightly, "Who are you? Why are you looking for me?" The middle-aged man said in a deep voice, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Wanqiu from Changlong Martial Arts Hall. As for the purpose of looking for you, it is naturally to kill you." Changlong Martial Arts Hall? Su Chen was slightly surprised. Although he had never been to Xianjiang, he had obtained some information about Xianjiang city in Jiangnan province and the game Catching Tigers. In the introduction of those materials, Changlong Martial Arts Hall was also a very powerful force in Xianjiang city. On the surface, it was a martial arts hall built by martial arts masters. But in fact, it was an extremely powerful underground martial arts force. There were not only many masters in Changlong Martial Arts Hall, but also many industries. The business of killing people for money like the one in front of him was naturally within the business scope of Changlong Martial Arts Hall. Su Chen said coldly, "Wanqiu, if you say so, someone is going to pay to buy my life. Who is it? Is it Ren Yuanfei, or the He family, the Feng family, the Lin family, or the Zheng family?" This was Su Chen's first time in Jiangnan province. There were only a few enemies who had made enemies with him. In addition to Ren Yuanfei, who had a grudge against Yeo Nana, there were only the 4 major families in Jiangnan province who had long had grudges. Wanqiu smiled coldly, "You have to ask the King of Hell about this matter yourself." As soon as the voice fell, he stomped his feet. Boom. There was a loud bang. Wanqiu rushed towards Su Chen like an arrow from a bow. Swoosh. A shining long sword suddenly appeared in his hand. The cold light was frightening. "Heavens will slash." Wanqiu roared. Suddenly, a sword energy slashed towards Su Chen like a streak of silk, as if to cut Su Chen into pieces in an instant. "Go back." Su Chen's expression remained unchanged, and he suddenly slapped out. Suddenly, the surging flame energy erupted from Su Chen's palm. Boom. The violent energy gushed out like a volcano. Wanqiu's face changed. Before he could react, crash. His sword light was instantly dispersed. Su Chen's violent energy continued to move forward and hit Wanqiu hard. Although Su Chen did not use the 9 extremes to increase his energy, such a strong and violent energy was not something that Wanqiu, who was in the middle stage of the innate realm, could resist. Puff. Wanqiu spat out a mouthful of blood. The whole person instantly flew backwards and rolled on the ground for several rounds before stopping. At this moment, Wanqiu's eyes were filled with fear. He looked at Su Chen in shock. You are not in the early stage of the Xianshan realm, but in the late stage of the Xianshan realm." At this moment, Wanqiu cursed in his heart. He took on this task only because he heard that the target of the task was a young Yuan-Ki master. Wanqiu thought that a Xianshan realm strongman in his 20s was at most in the early stage of the Xianshan realm. With his strength in the middle stage of the Xianshan realm, it would be easy to kill him. But he never expected that Su Chen was actually in the late stage of the Xianshan realm. In fact, Su Chen's Yuan-Ki cultivation had already reached the peak of the Xianshan realm. However, he did not use his full strength when he attacked, which made Wanqiu feel that Su Chen was only in the late stage of the Xianshan realm. Run. Wanqiu made up his mind instantly and turned around to evacuate. However, boom. A sound of wind and thunder rang out. Swish. Su Chen's figure instantly turned into a flash of lightning. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Wang Yilei, blocking his way. Wang Yilei's face was grim. Boy, I admit defeat this time. You let me go and let's leave. Don't think that you can do whatever you want, just because you are in the late Xiantian realm. In Xianjiang, there are countless strong men in my Changlang martial arts school. If you dare to touch me, you will die without a burial place. Wang Yilei said fiercely. Su Chen's face was slightly mocking. Are you scared? Wang Yilei's face flushed. You are looking for death, he shouted angrily. Then, Wang Yilei's body suddenly rose up. The sword net is vast. The long sword in his hand instantly drew out several sword ki, forming a sword net, covering Su Chen. This is Wang Yilei's strongest move. 13 sword ki were stimulated at the same time. In an instant, all the vitality in his body was emptied. Wang Yilei believed that even a strong man at the peak of the Xiantian realm would be seriously injured by this move if he was careless. Swish, swish, swish. The sword energy was crisscrossing and covering Su Chen. Su Chen's expression remained unchanged, and he slowly attacked, looking for death. Wang Yilei was overjoyed when he saw this. He seemed to see the scene of Su Chen's arm being cut off by him. However, the next second, boom. With a loud bang, Wang Yilei's sword energy net, facing Su Chen's simple punch, was like a piece of paper and shattered in an instant. Rumble. 13 sword energies in front of Su Chen drifted like a cool breeze. Ding. With a crisp sound, Su Chen held the long sword firmly with 2 fingers. Seeing this scene, Wang Yilei's heart and courage were instantly broken. His voice trembled. You are not in the late stage of the innate realm. Guessed it right, Su Chen said lightly, but there is no reward. As soon as the voice fell, Su Chen exerted force with 2 fingers. Snap. Wang Yilei's long sword instantly broke into more than a dozen pieces. Puff. Wang Yilei spit out blood again. The whole person flew out. Run. This was the only thought in Wang Yilei's mind. However, before he could move, a foot stepped on him fiercely. Boom. Wang Yilei's bones burst instantly, and the vitality in his meridians completely dissipated. At this moment, he regretted accepting this task. Tell me, where is the headquarters of Changlang Martial Arts School? Su Chen's cold voice sounded. The 3rd update is here. I apologize to everyone. I have to go to the hospital recently, and I have a lot of things to do. I will compensate everyone after this period. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 969. Knock on the door. Jiangnan Province. The provincial capital, Xianjiang City. In the downtown commercial district, there is a single family commercial villa covering a vast area. Although, from the outside, this commercial villa also looks like an office building, but it is out of tune with the surroundings. Because the people coming and going are not white collar workers and gold collar workers in suits and leather shoes. On the contrary, most of the people coming in and out are some sturdy men. These people, each with muscular body and bright eyes. At first glance, they are not easy to mess with. On both sides of the gate, there are huge signs. Changlang Martial Arts Hall. This place is the base of He Changlang, the underground strongman in Xianjiang City. Changlang Martial Arts Hall covers a large area. On the 1st floor alone, there is a spacious hall and front desk, as well as various multifunctional partitions such as training area, weapon area, battle area, washing area, and rest area. In the back, there are various small quiet rooms. More importantly, Changlang Martial Arts Hall has a total of 8 floors. In Xianjiang City, where every inch of land is valuable, occupying such a large area has already proved the strength of Changlang Martial Arts Hall and He Changlang. At this moment, dozens of martial arts practitioners in black training suits were practicing in various areas. Hey. Ha. Come on. Ahoo. Let's practice. I finally broke through the dark energy. Ha ha ha. Congratulations. Various voices rang out in the Changlang Martial Arts Hall. At this moment, a loud noise suddenly exploded. Everyone was startled. Crash. A crisp sound of glass breaking suddenly rang out. The next second, a bloody figure flew into the hole of the Changlang Martial Arts Hall from the broken glass. The figure fell to the ground fiercely, dragging a long trail of blood, and did not get up again. For a moment, All the martial arts practitioners in the Changlang Martial Arts Hall were stunned. Then, one by one, they showed expressions of shock and anger. What's going on? Is anyone making trouble? Who dares to come to our Changlang Martial Arts Hall to make trouble? Fuck, are you looking for death? Wow. The people who were practicing on the first floor gathered together immediately. At this moment, bang, pa, a young figure walked in on the broken glass. It was Su Chen. Su Chen stepped forward with a blank expression. He raised his foot and stepped on the figure he threw him. He turned his head slowly and swept his eyes across the entire first floor. After a rough glance, he found that most of these people were dark force martial artists. There were only a dozen bright force martial artists, and most of them were at the peak of bright force and would soon break through to the force martial artist. The next second, Su Chen's mental power spread out and swept across other floors. He found that on the higher floors, there were some more advanced martial arts monks. Among them, there were more than 20 masters of the mysterious force and 6 masters of the innate realm. This Jiangnan province is indeed much stronger than Anzhou province. The headquarters of an underground force actually has so many masters. Compared to the weak ones in the 8 major families in Anzhou province, they are only stronger and not worse. No wonder the Lin family, Feng family, Zheng family, and He family were so arrogant in Anzhou province. Su Chen sneered in his heart. However, although the Changlang martial arts school is strong, in Su Chen's eyes, it is still a piece of shit. Excuse me, is this the Changlang martial arts school? Su Chen raised his eyebrows with a sneer. His arrogant attitude immediately caused everyone in the Changlang martial arts school to scold him. Little bastard, you dare to cause trouble when you know it's the Changlang martial arts school. Are you looking for death? Boy, if you don't have a good reason, this day next year will be your Memorial Day. Su Chen's face was indifferent. I don't want to do it. Please ask He Changlang to come down. As soon as this was said, all the warriors were furious. How dare you? How dare you call our owner's name? You're looking for death. I want to see how capable you are to come to our Changlang martial arts school to provoke a fight. Brother Wang, let me do it. I just broke through the dark force martial artist. As he spoke, several strong men rushed to take action and wanted to take Su Chen down. At this time, someone saw the figure on the ground clearly and exclaimed, "Look, the figure he stepped on the ground looks like Elder Wanqiu." As soon as these words came out, the scene suddenly became quiet. Everyone looked at the figure under Su Chen's feet. When they saw Wanqiu's appearance clearly, everyone was dumbfounded. Wanqiu, the master level strongman of Changlang martial arts school. At this moment, he was being stepped on by this strange man. For a moment, everyone's heart was pounding. The guys who just clamored to attack Su Chen also bowed their heads like ostriches and dared not speak again. The Yuan-Ki master of the middle stage of the Xianshan realm was stepped on. These dark force martial artists, what a fart. At this moment, whoosh, 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 a series of figures with strong auras flew down from the upstairs. These people were the Zhuanjin masters and Yuan-Ki masters that Su Chen had just discovered through the mental scan. Everyone was overjoyed to see the strong man of Changlang martial arts school coming. Elders, you've come at the right time. Someone is causing trouble. That's right. This kid stepped on Elder Wanqiu, which is obviously a provocation. Everyone make way and let the elders deal with this kid. Wow. Everyone hurriedly made way. Suddenly, more than 20 Zhuanjin masters guarded 6 Yuan-Ki masters and faced Su Chen. Boy, let go of our master Wang. You will leave a whole body. A late Zhuanjin strongman pointed at Su Chen angrily. Su Chen smiled coldly. Okay. Here you go. As soon as the voice fell, Su Chen suddenly kicked up. Bang. In an instant, Wanqiu flew towards the late Zhuanjin strongman like a football. The face of the late Zhuanjin strongman suddenly changed. I almost set the wrong time yesterday, so I will post the chapters in advance today to make amends. This is the first chapter. There will be another chapter later. Chapter 970. Everyone kneel down. The face of the late Zhuanjin strongman changed drastically. The speed at which Wanqiu flew was too scary. He hurriedly gathered all his Zhuanjin and tried to catch Wanqiu's body. However, the result was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. As soon as his hands touched Wanqiu, He felt a chill in his heart. He felt as if a huge peak was pressing down on him. Mount Tay was pressing down on his head. Unstoppable. Boom. The irresistible force suddenly erupted. The late Zhou Wanqiu strongman only felt a pain in his hands. Snap. A sound of broken bones rang out. The next second, the late Zhou Wanqiu strongman had no time to make any other moves and was directly knocked away by Wang Yilei. The two figures flew out together. Gurgle. The two rolled more than 10 meters away. Wang Yilei still did not move. Puff. The late Zhou Wanqiu strongman vomited a mouthful of blood and fainted. For a moment, everyone looked at Su Chen with horror. The young man in front of him was too scary. Just one kick can stun a late Zhou Wanqiu strongman through Wang Yilei's body. Such strength is at least in the middle stage of Xianshan realm. Everyone retreated, with fear on their faces. At this time, a bold strong man flashed out. Boy, you dare to be so arrogant in Changlang Martial Arts Hall. Look at your claws. This man was actually a Yuan Qi master in the late Xianshan realm. He raised his big hand and grabbed Su Chen fiercely. Vajra Dragon Claw hand. The sharp Yuan Qi condensed on the claws. In the air, bursts of tearing noises burst out. In Changlang Martial Arts Hall, everyone saw the bold strong man take action, and their faces were immediately excited. Elder Wei has taken action. This kid is dead. Yes, yes, yes. Elder Wei is a strong man in the late Xianshan realm. This kid is definitely not Elder Wei's opponent. Elder Wei became a monk in his early years. His pair of diamond dragon claws are so strong and brave that they can even tear apart steel plates. He can definitely tear this kid alive. Everyone was full of confidence. Elder Wen's vitality was violent, and with a tearing sound, he grabbed Su Chen's throat. It seemed that he wanted to kill Su Chen with one blow. Su Chen's eyes turned cold. He suddenly raised his hand and punched Elder Wen's claws. Break it for me. Elder Wen shouted. His claws grabbed Su Chen's fists directly. Su Chen did not dodge or avoid and went hard. Bang, bang. The fists and claws intersected. The vitality was immediately agitated. Elder Wen's claws grabbed Su Chen's arm again with lightning speed. A hint of joy flashed in his eyes. If he was caught by his arm, at least he would tear off a large piece of flesh. Even his two arms could not be saved. Everyone in the Changlang Martial Arts School showed joy on their faces and looked at Su Chen with gloating. Break it for me. Elder Wen shouted angrily and exerted force with both claws. However, squeak. A sharp metallic sound resounded in everyone's ears. Elder Wen's claws slashed Su Chen's arm fiercely, but he didn't even take off a piece of flesh, but made his hands numb. How could he know? With Su Chen's divine realm body, how could he, a powerful innate realm, hurt him? This. Elder Wen was shocked and puzzled. At this time, Su Chen showed a cold smile. Have you had enough fun? It's my turn. Elder Wen's expression changed, and he wanted to retreat. Although he didn't understand why he couldn't break Su Chen's defense. But he knew in his heart that, if he didn't retreat in time, something bad would definitely happen. Too late. Su Chen sneered. His figure flashed, and his retreat speed was much faster than Elder Wei. Then, Su Chen changed his fist into a claw, and grabbed Elder Wei with the same move. Elder Wei's face changed drastically. Before he could react, Su Chen's claws had already grabbed his hands. Strength was slightly released. Snap, snap. Elder Wen's hands, starting from the wrist, were all crushed to pieces. Ah! Elder Wen screamed, his voice full of misery. Su Chen still did not stop. Elder Wen's move was a killing move, and Su Chen had no need to show mercy. Su Chen shook his hands. The power of the 7-injury fist was directly transmitted into Elder Wen's arms. Bang, bang. Elder Wen's arm meridians and bones were instantly shattered. Both arms were still as soft as noodles. Then, Su Chen kicked out with lightning. Boom. Elder Wen flew backwards. Many warriors from Changlang Martial Arts School were knocked around by him like bowling balls. For a moment, everyone was terrified and retreated again and again. Elder Wen, who was in the late Xianshan realm, was seriously injured in this encounter. What kind of cultivation is this young man in front of him? Everyone, attack together. He is only one person. He can't be the opponent of so many of us. A black-robed Yuan Qi master said hurriedly. Suddenly, everyone gritted their teeth and rushed towards Su Chen. In their opinion, no matter how strong Su Chen was, he couldn't be the opponent of so many people. Suddenly, more than 20 Zhou Wanqiu masters and 5 Yuan Qi masters attacked Su Chen together. Some were barehanded, some were holding weapons, and some used hidden weapons. Kill. Dangshan Fist. Zenshan Palm. Li Ho Finger. Duan Jiang Yadao. In an instant, Zhou Wanqiu and Yuan Qi, knife and sword energy, flooded towards Su Chen. Even the dark force martial artists who couldn't help surrounded him, looking for opportunities to sneak attack Su Chen. Su Chen was not afraid at all. Fight. The sound of wind and thunder exploded. Instead of retreating, he rushed forward and rushed directly into the crowd. Su Chen stepped on the wandering step. For a moment, everyone's attack slipped from Su Chen's side. In the attacks of the crowd, Su Chen was strolling leisurely like strolling in the garden. No attack could hit him. And as long as Su Chen made a move, he would make the opponent fall to the ground and reduce the number of people in an instant. Bang, bang, bang. No matter whether the person standing in front of Su Chen was a master of Zhou Wanqiu or a master of Yuan Qi, no one could be Su Chen's opponent. In less than half a minute, all the masters of Zhou Wanqiu and Yuan Qi had fallen to the ground, holding their bodies and wailing in pain. Swish. Many dark force martial artists and bright force martial artists were instantly shocked. Su Chen took a step forward and swept his cold eyes over the crowd. Come on, continue. The next second. Puff, puff, puff. These people knelt on the ground together, as if they had telepathy, and kowtowed crazily. I surrender. I surrender. Please spare my life. I'll make amends in one more chapter. There should be 2 or 3 more chapters around 12 o'clock. Thank you all for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 971, The Wrath of the Master. In the Changlang Martial Arts Hall, a group of Zhou Wanqiu masters and Yuan Qi masters fell to the ground. Su Chen stood proudly, like a god of war. Opposite him, nearly 100 dark force masters and bright force masters knelt on the ground and kowtowed frantically for mercy. At this moment, the martial artists of the Changlang Martial Arts Hall finally recognized Su Chen's strength and understood why Su Chen dared to provoke him. Su Chen pulled a sofa directly from the reception area. He sat down casually, crossed his legs, and was as leisurely as if he was at home. Now, please send someone to go up and call He Changlang down. Is that okay? The Dark Force Master shook their heads again and again. No problem. No problem. At this time, a strong man with a beard said, Sir, my name is Hu Biao. I will help you call the hall. He Changlang come down. Facing Su Chen, Hu Biao actually called He Changlang by his name. Su Chen nodded. Go. Hey. Hu Biao quickly got up and hurried to the stairs. The others kept their heads down, fearing that they would attract Su Chen's attention and cause him to be killed. The top floor of Changlang Martial Arts Hall. The entire 8th floor is He Changlang's office. No one can step into it unless there is an emergency or a summons. At this time, in the huge office, a sturdy man with a majestic face, a cigar in his mouth, and his legs on the desk. This person is He Changlang. At this time, he is answering the phone. The person he is talking to is Ren Yuan. Master He, have your men set off? I have transferred 20 million to your card. Now, I want to see the head of that bastard immediately. Ren Yuan's gritted teeth came. He Changlang took a puff of his cigar and smiled lightly. Don't worry, Mr. Ren, my Changlang Martial Arts School has received your money, so we will naturally do the job. I'll send the person to you in 2 hours at the latest. Ren Yuan was satisfied. Well, I hope Mr. He can be more serious. That kid is very unusual. The Zhou Wanqiu master under my command can't even survive a face-to-face encounter. He Changlang curled his lips and smiled. Mr. Ren, the gap between the Yuan Qi master and the Zhou Wanqiu master is like heaven and earth. According to your description, that kid is at most in the early stage of the Xianshan realm. The men I sent out are a master in the middle stage of the Xianshan realm, Xianai Sword King Yelei. Besides, if Wang Yelei can't kill that kid, I have more powerful masters under my command. Finally, I'll cover you. What do you have to worry about? Hearing this, Ren Yuanfei was immediately relieved. Haha. With what you said, Master He, I'm completely relieved. If you, Master He, take action in the end, I'm willing to give you another 20 million, just as a friend. He Changlong laughed. Mr. Ren is really generous. It seems that the kid named Su Chen has really offended you. Ren Yuanfei snorted coldly. If possible, please try your men to catch him alive. I will thank you extra. Okay. He Changlong nodded. The two hung up the phone. A cold light flashed in He Changlong's eyes. To be honest, sending a mid-stage Xianshan realm strongman to take action and receiving 20 million is not too much. He Changlong took this order, and the greater purpose was to establish some friendship with Ren Yuanfei. Although Ren Yuanfei is a playboy, the Ren family behind him is very powerful. Recently, He Changlong has also encountered some troubles. If the Ren family helps, it will be much easier to deal with. Su Chen, although I don't know where you came from, I have to sacrifice you for the sake of furthering my friendship with the Ren family. He Changlong murmured. At this moment, bang, the door of He Changlong's room was suddenly pushed open. A bearded man rushed in with panicked steps. It was Hu Biao. Master. Hu Biao didn't finish his words. On the opposite side, He Changlong's face sank. He raised his hand and slapped. Crack. A flash of lightning flashed. The fierce vitality, with a buzzing thunder and flashing arcs, hit Hu Biao fiercely. Boom. Hu Biao was struck by lightning. He flew backwards and hit the door hard. Crash. The solid wooden door burst instantly. Wow. Hu Biao spurted out 2 mouthfuls of blood in succession, and the whole person knelt on the ground. He Changlong's face was gloomy. What a thing without rules. Without my summons, you climbed to the top floor and broke into my office. Do you want to die? Hu Biao's face was pale. He kowtowed frantically and said, Master, spare my life. I have important news to report, and I was so reckless in a hurry. Please spare my life. Speak. He Changlong's eyes were cold. If the important news you said does not satisfy me, don't blame me for setting new rules for you. Hu Biao trembled all over. He hurriedly said, Master, something big happened downstairs. A young man knocked out Elder Wang Yulei and broke into our martial arts hall. Just now, Elder Wei led other elders to besiege him, but they were all injured by him. Now, he asked me to ask you to go down to see him. As soon as the voice fell, bang, He Changlong slammed his palm on the table. Crash. The fine mahogany table instantly exploded into slag. Smoke and dust rose, and wood chips flew everywhere. What? He Changlong's eyes were full of tyranny. He already understood that the person who came must be Su Chen. What an arrogant boy, looking for death. As he said this, He Changlong walked out suddenly. He wanted to meet Su Chen in person. After He Changlong left, Hu Biao breathed a sigh of relief and collapsed on the ground. A trace of pain appeared on his face, and a trace of hatred appeared in his eyes. He Changlong was too arrogant and domineering, and he hurt people at every turn. If He Changlong had been in a better attitude just now, Hu Biao might have described the process of Su Chen's attack in detail, so that He Changlong could be prepared. But He Changlong's attack seriously injured Hu Biao, which made him wish that Su Chen would beat He Changlong to death or cripple him. HMPH. Hu Biao groaned in pain and struggled to walk downstairs. The first floor. Whoosh. Bang. A majestic figure suddenly landed. It was He Changlong of Changlong Martial Arts Hall. Master. Seeing He Changlong, the warriors kneeling on the ground suddenly looked tangled. They didn't know whether they should continue to kneel or get up quickly. He Changlong saw his men kneeling, and his face was gloomy. Looking across, Su Chen was sitting on the sofa leisurely, eating fruit. He Changlong was completely furious. The third update is here. The next update will be coming soon. Chapter 972 belong to me immediately. He Changlong was angry. He has been in Xianjiang City for decades. It has been more than 10 years since he established the Changlong Martial Arts School. Over the years, whether in Xianjiang City or in other cities in Southeast Province, who would not be respectful to him, He Changlong, even if he did not show up in person, others would be polite to the people in the Changlong Martial Arts School and give him a face. But now, he was beaten up. All the Zhuanjin masters and Yuan-Qi masters in the headquarters of the martial arts school were knocked to the ground and screamed in pain. Other low-level warriors even knelt down to beg for life. What does this mean? This is a slap in the face of He Changlang. Okay. He Changlang gritted his teeth. He roared, "Stand up." The sound was like thunder, shocking. For a moment, all the warriors who were kneeling on the ground hurriedly got up. Those Zhuanjin masters and Yuan-Qi masters who were less injured also stood up in a hurry. Even if Su Chen could defeat them, they believed that He Changlang could kill Su Chen. This was the prestige and momentum that He Changlang had gained through decades of killing. Moreover, a legend has been circulating in the Changlang Martial Arts Hall. Although He Changlang has not yet broken through to the level of a land immortal, he once injured a land immortal. In the Changlang Martial Arts Hall, everyone has long regarded He Changlang as a powerful god. Su Chen did not move, still sitting steadily on the sofa. He said lightly, "You are He Changlang, right? Did you send this Wanqiu?" He Changlang stared at Su Chen, with a fierce light flashing in his eyes. "Yes." Su Chen smiled. "That's good. Now, you need to think carefully about how to calm my anger." "Calm your anger? Haha." He Changlang laughed in anger. He couldn't believe his ears. Then, he said in a cold voice, "Boy, you are just at the peak of the Xiantian realm. And I'm only half a step away from the realm of the immortals on land. You want me to calm your anger? The gap between the semi-god realm and the peak of the Xiantian realm will make you despair." As soon as the voice fell, He Changlang shouted, "Thundering Qi." In an instant, He Changlang's Qi surged all over his body, and arcs of electricity flashed in between. Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. No wonder He Changlang was so confident. It turned out that he had condensed the Qi of Thunder attribute. Seeing this, the warriors of Changlang Martial Arts Hall also felt more confident. Don't worry. The owner's Qi is attribute Qi, and it is an extremely rare Thunder attribute Qi. Ordinary Qi masters, even if they have condensed attribute Qi, are not the opponent of the owner. The people of Changlang Martial Arts Hall immediately regained their confidence in He Changlang. Thunder Palm. He Changlang stepped on his feet, and the whole person instantly soared into the air, 6 or 7 meters high, and then he slapped out fiercely. Boom. Or thunder suddenly exploded in everyone's ears. With the flashing of arcs, the thunder energy condensed into a palm print, and slashed towards Su Chen. At this moment, He Changlang was the thunder god incarnate. Su Chen raised his eyes, his expression indifferent. Thunder attribute energy. Is it rare? The next second, Su Chen slapped out a palm, facing He Changlang's thunder palm. Mysterious thunder energy. In an instant, the violent energy gushed out from Su Chen's palm. The silver lightning slurry flowed with the energy, like a river of thunder. In contrast, He Changlang's thunder energy immediately pales in comparison, like a small witch meeting a big witch. His thunder energy seems to be just ordinary household electricity, while Su Chen's mysterious thunder energy is high voltage electricity. The thunder energy suddenly lost all its brilliance. He Changlang's face changed. Before he could make any new moves, the violent thunder had completely swallowed him. Bang! Crackling. The deafening sound of thunder rang out. He Changlang was blown away. Thump, thump, thump. He retreated more than 10 steps on the ground before he stabilized his body. At this time, He Changlang was like being struck by lightning. His hair stood up, and his face was also burnt black, looking quite embarrassed. But Su Chen's face did not change. His expression was indifferent. His feet were like taking root, not retreating at all. For a while, everyone in Changlang Martial Arts Hall was shocked. They thought that He Changlang would be able to suppress Su Chen quickly when he came out. As a result, He Changlang suffered a loss when he fought with Su Chen for the first time. What shocked everyone even more was that Su Chen also had the thunder attribute vitality that He Changlang was proud of. Moreover, Su Chen's thunder attribute vitality seemed to be of higher quality. You actually condensed the thunder attribute vitality. He Changlang looked ugly. The shock in his heart was even greater than that of others. The reason why He Changlang was able to condense the thunder attribute vitality was because of an adventure in his early years, when he got a piece of thunderstruck wood. The conditions for the formation of thunderstruck wood are extremely harsh. The tree itself needs to have the attribute of spiritual wood, and it must be in a place where thunder gathers, and it must be struck by lightning 9 times without dying, in order to condense a piece of thunderstruck wood. After He Changlong accidentally got the thunderstruck wood, he went through painful torture and life and death crisis before he condensed the thunder vitality. Although the process was full of difficulties and dangers, and there was a great deal of luck, the final result was gratifying. After condensing the thunder vitality, He Changlong officially rose, and he was invincible. Even when he first entered the early stage of the innate realm, he could face the strong men in the late stage of the innate realm without being defeated. After achieving the peak of the innate realm, He Changlong was even more unbeatable under the divine realm. But today, his most proud thunder attribute vitality was crushed. He Changlong had no idea that he condensed the thunder attribute vitality by relying on the thunder element in the thunderstruck wood, while Su Chen condensed it by directly absorbing the thunder from the sky. The gap between the two can be seen with the naked eye. Su Chen said coldly, "What? Are you the only one with thunder attribute energy?" He Changlong's face was gloomy. He shouted angrily, "Arsehole! Don't think you can beat me like this." Heavenly thunder body. Lightning flashed on He Changlong's body. In an instant, he was wrapped in electric arcs, his body gleaming like the god of thunder. Su Chen narrowed his eyes. He could clearly feel that the strength of He Changlong's body was increasing rapidly. Su Chen nodded secretly. This heavenly thunder body is actually a technique that uses thunder attribute energy to strengthen the body. He Changlong really has something. Thunder palm and heavenly thunder body are both very good. Relying on the thunder attribute energy, he actually raised both the energy and the body to the peak of the innate realm. However, these two techniques will belong to me soon. Su Chen sneered. The second update is here. The next update will be in about 15 minutes. Chapter 973. Is there any more? He Changlong shouted loudly. He turned into a flash of lightning and struck Su Chen with lightning. Boom. 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 He stepped forward step by step, with great force. The blue bricks on the ground exploded one by one. The blue bricks of Changlong Martial Arts School are genuine, high-quality special explosion-proof bricks. Even the Zhou Wanqiu Grand Master would find it difficult to break several bricks in a row. But now, in front of He Changlong's attack, it was like tofu dregs. In the blink of an eye, He Changlong had already rushed in front of Su Chen. A fierce punch, accompanied by the exploding lightning. This attack was actually a breakthrough to the peak of the Xianshan realm. Everyone in Changlong Martial Arts School squinted their eyes at the flashing lightning. A key master said, "Under the heavenly thunder body, the physical strength of the owner will soar to a terrifying level. Before, when I was sparring with the owner, he allowed me to attack with all my strength, and I could not break through his defense. Under the god realm, absolutely no one can stop the owner of the heavenly thunder body." The key master seemed to remember the scene of fighting with He Changlong before, and his eyes were full of confidence. The other warriors also nodded repeatedly. Su Chen smiled coldly, competing with the physical body. He no longer urged the key, but rushed towards He Changlong and fought with him directly. Boom. He Changlong's huge fist, wrapped in lightning, smashed towards Su Chen. Su Chen raised his hand and punched him with an ordinary punch. Boom. The huge lightning fist collided with Su Chen's fist. The size of the two fists was obviously different. Everyone thought that Su Chen would be blown away. However, it was He Changlong's lightning fist that was annihilated in an instant. He Changlong's face changed. Impossible. He shouted angrily and punched again and again. Su Chen countered his moves and punched back. The two of them fought directly. Bang, bang, bang. The physical confrontation was the most exciting. At the beginning, the two of them were fighting crazily. Later, Su Chen and He Changlong no longer defended, but directly took each other's fists and punched each other's body. He Changlong didn't believe that his physical body would be weaker than Su Chen, and Su Chen was just playing with He Changlong. "How do you want to play? I will play with you. Play until you are desperate." Su Chen even had to control the strength to avoid beating He Changlong to death. Boom. 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 In the blink of an eye, both of them punched each other more than a dozen times. Su Chen still had no expression on his face, but He Changlong began to feel fear in his heart. He could clearly feel that his thunder fist hit Su Chen like a drop in the ocean without any effect, and every punch of Su Chen basically damaged his body. Even the flow of his vitality was interrupted. A few more punches followed. Puff. Suddenly, He Changlang was like a deflated balloon. Lightning flashed on his body, and all the arcs disappeared completely. What? Is there no electricity? Su Chen sneered and punched again. Boom. He Changlang could no longer resist, and the whole person flew out. Puff. A mouthful of blood spurted out. He Changlang's face was pale. All the warriors in Changlang Martial Arts Hall were stunned. He Changlang used all his thunder body, but he was beaten to spit blood. Your body. He Changlang looked at Su Chen with an unbelievable look on his face. Su Chen said lightly, it's the same as the thunder attribute vitality, and it's also a little stronger than you. What other moves do you have? Use them quickly, otherwise you won't have a chance. He Changlang's face turned as black as the bottom of a pot. Boy, you force me to do this. He Changlang stretched out his hand and tapped the key points around his body continuously. Su Chen did not stop him, but just looked at He Changlang quietly. He knew that He Changlang should use his last killer move. However, in the face of absolute strength, this is a joke. Puff. He Changlang spit out blood again. In an instant, a wonderful mystery was released from the vital points of He Changlang's body. Su Chen's eyes condensed slightly. He Changlang's move was actually like a formation. However, he used the vital points of his body as the center of the formation and exchanged his own blood for a short-term burst, which was extremely harmful to the body. Boom. The violent thunder energy surged. Thunder Dragon Strike. He Changlang shouted angrily. The next second, the thunder energy in his body roared, condensed into a thunder dragon, and rushed towards Su Chen. The violent thunder dragon was like a punishment from heaven. Its power actually reached the level of the divine realm. In the Changlang Martial Arts Hall, all the warriors trembled. Some people with broad knowledge exclaimed, I know the owner's trick. Before, the owner of the hall used this trick to injure the land immortal. This time, the owner of the hall will definitely win. Everyone's eyes showed ecstasy. However, Su Chen just smiled coldly. Invincible golden body. Su Chen's body flashed with golden light, and he instantly turned into a Vajra god of war. The divine body, plus the invincible golden body, the defense is directly maximumed out. In the eyes of others, Su Chen did not dodge, did not resist, and was like a fool. The next second, the thunder dragon roared and hit Su Chen hard. Boom. The violent thunder dragon's power surged into Su Chen's body and began to rage wildly. The great 5-element body tempering art. Su Chen sneered in his heart and urged the body refining technique he got from Zhou Desu. The great 5-element body tempering art, although it is called 5-element body tempering, is great 5-element. The meaning is self-evident. Not only the 5-element power can temper the body, but other powers can also. Suddenly, the violent power of thunder and lightning actually became a tonic for Su Chen's body training. Su Chen's body quickly improved in pain and paralysis. At this moment, Su Chen's face showed an excited expression. Such an attack is too suitable. Thunder attribute, excellent stimulation. The attack power of the initial stage of the god realm will not cause overflow of damage, nor will it be insufficient. It's a pity. This move was made by He Changlang desperately consuming his blood and essence to be able to launch it once. If it happens twice, he might be directly killed. Rumble. The thunder dragon flashed on Su Chen's body and finally slowly disappeared. Su Chen closed his eyes and practiced, just like enjoying a massage. When the lightning disappeared completely, Su Chen slowly opened his eyes full of joy. If such a move is used several times a day, he is confident that his body will break through to the middle stage of the god realm in a short time. Can you attack like this a few more times? If you can, I'll let you go. Su Chen looked at He Changlang and said lightly. Hearing this, He Changlang's face was full of despair. Bang. He suddenly knelt on the ground. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please spare my life, Mr. Su. The 5th update is here. Good night. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 974,000 times compensation. He Changlang knelt down. He knelt down cleanly. Mr. Su, I really can't use the Thunder Dragon Strike anymore. If I use it again, I'll die. I know I was wrong. Please spare my life. He Changlong kowtowed. Su Chen's request was simply to kill him. This time, he had already consumed half of his blood and energy in the Thunder Dragon strike. As a result, not only did it not cause any harm to Su Chen, but it was more like a massage. He Changlong didn't know what would happen to Su Chen if he used it again, but he himself might become a corpse. Now, He Changlong has determined that Su Chen in front of him is a mountain he can never cross. If he does it again, there is only one way to die. So, kneel down and beg for mercy quickly, maybe there is still a glimmer of hope. On the side, the other warriors of Changlong Martial Arts Hall were stunned. Before, when He Changlong came down from the top floor, he asked them to stand up and not kneel. As a result, now He Changlong himself kneels straighter than anyone else. Crash. For a moment, many Changlong martial arts gym warriors who were standing to cheer, knelt down again like the ebb tide. Mr. Su, spare my life. Spare my life. The voices of pleading one after another resounded throughout the Changlong martial arts gym. Su Chen's face was calm. He pulled over the sofa and sat down again. Shut up. Suddenly, everyone quieted down and looked at Su Chen cautiously. He Changlong. Su Chen said lightly. Hey. He Changlong responded immediately, then crawled towards Su Chen on his knees. He had worked his way up from the bottom, so he naturally knew what to do and when to do it. Although face is important, what's the point of keeping face if the person dies? He Changlong smiled flatteringly. Mr. Su, you can ask for anything. Before, I was blind and offended you. Please have mercy and spare my life. At this moment, He Changlong no longer looked like the underground overlord of Xianjiang. With a face full of flattery and pleading, he was even more servile than a servant. Su Chen sneered in his heart. You are indeed a talent. With such a status, you can still be so humble, which really makes me look at you with new eyes. Su Chen said lightly. He Changlong smiled and said, Mr. Su, you are too kind. I have realized my mistake and I really regret it. Seeing He Changlong like this, Su Chen was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. Tell me, who told you to send Wanqiu to kill me? Su Chen asked straight to the point. He Changlong quickly replied honestly, Mr. Su, it was Ren Xiao of Xianjiang Ren family. Ren Yuanfei. He gave me 20 million and asked me to send someone to kill you. You know, I do this kind of business, and Ren Yuanfei is also the eldest master of our Xianjiang. It just so happens that I want to make some friends with him, so. Speaking of this, He Changlong kowtowed to Su Chen again. Mr. Su, I know I was wrong. Please spare my life. Stand at attention when you are beaten. Now, no matter what you ask, I will agree to it. Please spare my life. He Changlong was really scared. In his opinion, Su Chen's martial arts skills were no weaker than those in the early stage of the divine realm. Facing such a master, no matter how much he begged for mercy, it would not be too much. Su Chen was a little bored when he saw that everyone was kowtowed like chickens pecking at rice. If these people continued to be arrogant, he might have killed them all directly. But now that they were like this, he was too lazy to do it again. Su Chen glanced at He Changlong and said coldly, Ren Yuanfei spent 20 million to buy my life. How much should you spend to buy your own life? He Changlong's heart was immediately shaken. He knew that Su Chen was preparing to give him a way to live. He Changlong said hurriedly, Mr. Su, I'm willing to pay 100 times the compensation, 2 billion. What do you think? Su Chen sneered, 2 billion? He Changlong, it seems that your life is really not worth much. As he spoke, a fierce murderous intent locked onto He Changlong. In an instant, a cold sweat broke out along He Changlong's back. 1,000 times. Mr. Su, I will pay 20 billion to compensate. He Changlong shouted hurriedly. Bang bang bang. He Changlong kowtowed frantically. In the blink of an eye, his forehead was already bright red. Well, Su Chen said lightly. In an instant, He Changlong was as if he had been pardoned. Thank you, Mr. Su. Thank you, Mr. Su. He Changlong raised his head and said in embarrassment, Mr. Su, it's only 20 billion in cash. I need time to prepare. Please give me 3 days. Well, Su Chen nodded. He Changlong breathed a sigh of relief. 20 billion is not a small amount at all. Even though He Changlong's family is big and has countless assets, But to collect such a large sum of money, he needs to urgently sell many assets to do it. Moreover, if he sells these industries in a hurry, he will inevitably be undercut by others and bleed a lot. At this time, He Changlong's worth may be at least halved. At least I can survive. He Changlong can only comfort himself in this way. Mr. Su, do you have any other requests? He Changlong asked flatteringly. Su Chen said lightly, where is Ren Yuanfei now? He Changlong was shocked. It seems that Su Chen is going to make trouble for Ren Yuanfei. He Changlong said cautiously, Mr. Su, Mr. Ren. The Ren family behind Ren Yuanfei is one of the most powerful families in Xianjiang city and even the entire southeast province. If you offend the Ren family, I'm afraid. Su Chen said coldly, are you teaching me how to do things? He Changlong trembled all over and said quickly, I dare not. I dare not. I'll have someone check it now. Soon. He Changlong arranged for someone to check Ren Yuanfei's location. Not long after, the news came back. He Changlong reported, Mr. Su, Ren Yuanfei is now in my nightclub. Okay. Remember to raise the 20 billion to buy his life. After that, Su Chen didn't say any more nonsense, but stood up directly. He had just walked a few meters, when he suddenly turned back. By the way, give me your thunder palm and heavenly thunder body. He Changlong didn't dare to talk nonsense, ran back to the top floor, to get back 2 thread-bound books, and handed them to Su Chen respectfully. It was thunder palm and heavenly thunder body. Su Chen nodded. The next second, boom. A thunderous sound flashed by. Su Chen's figure had disappeared. Puff. He Changlong's feet softened, and he almost collapsed to the ground. The first update is here. Chapter 975 I don't think. Su Chen's figure disappeared completely. He Changlong finally breathed a sigh of relief. His feet went soft, and he almost collapsed to the ground. Master. The many warriors who had been kneeling just now hurried forward and helped He Changlong to the sofa. He Changlong sat for a long time before coming back to his senses. At this time, a Yuanqi master asked, Master, are we just going to admit defeat this time? He Changlong looked at him coldly. Why? Do you want to avenge me? The Yuanqi master suddenly looked embarrassed and dared not speak again. Humph. He Changlong snorted coldly. This Su Chen. Mr. Su, his cultivation is definitely beyond the scope of the innate realm. Even if he is not in the god realm, he will never be weaker than the god realm. Such a strong man. You want me to take my head to avenge him? All of you put away your messy thoughts. You want to die, don't drag me. Everyone's face was stern, and they dared not speak anymore. He Changlong has fought with masters in the god realm. If he said so, it means that Su Chen's fighting power has really reached the divine realm. Also, what happened today? Keep it to yourself. No one can tell anyone. If I hear any rumors outside, don't blame me for being ruthless. He Changlong's sharp eyes swept over the warriors. Although, in front of Su Chen, he was like a stray dog. But in front of these ordinary warriors, he was as fierce as a prison. Yes, Master. Everyone agreed quickly. If this matter spread, it would also be a disgrace to their Changlong martial arts school. It's a good thing that no one said anything. He Changlong looked at the way everyone cooperated and nodded. At this time, another Yuanqi master said, Master, now that Su Chen is obviously looking for trouble with Ren Yuanfei. Look, should we notify Ren Yuanfei? He hadn't finished speaking. Bang. He Changlong kicked this person directly. The Yuanqi master rolled out more than 10 meters away. He Changlong said angrily, don't you understand what I mean? We can't afford to offend Mr. Su at Changlong Martial Arts School. You are going to ruin his business. Are you going to use your head to calm him down, or do you want me to prepare another 20 billion? The Yuanqi master was in a mess. He hurriedly explained, Master, please calm down. I'm also worried that Ren Yuanfei will get into trouble in our youth club. If the Ren family blames us for this, we can't afford it. Hearing this explanation, He Changlong's expression eased a little. He said coldly, we can't afford to offend the Ren family, and we can't afford to offend Mr. Su either. Now, all we can do is play dumb. I think that, when Mr. Su goes to find Ren Yuanfei, he should just give him a simple lesson, and no one will die. At this point, He Changlang thought for a while and said, arrange someone to destroy the surveillance hard drive first, making it look like an accident, just in case. Yes. Someone immediately went to arrange it. He Changlang half leaned on the sofa and breathed a sigh of relief. In this way, if something really happens, he can also do a favor to Su Chen. Although Su Chen may not need it, it is good after all. I hope nothing serious will happen. He Changlang prayed in his heart. On the other side, nightclub. In a luxurious box, Ren Yuanfei was sitting between two beauties, drinking and having fun. However, even though he was hugging left and right, his face was not very good. Sitting on the sofa next to Ren Yuanfei was a middle-aged man in a red tang suit. This man had a fierce look on his face and his aura was extremely sharp. His whole body was full of vitality, and he was a master of vitality. This man, named Zhou Wanqiu, was a worshipper of the Ren family and a master of the late Xianshan realm. Zhou Wanqiu looked at the depressed Ren Yuanfei and advised, Mr. Ren, since you are out here to have fun, then have fun. Don't let such a small person affect your mood. Ren Yuanfei said with a dark face, in all these years in Xianjiang, when have I been humiliated like this? I can't be happy until I receive the news of the boy's death. Master Zhao, you don't have to persuade me. Now, He Changlang has sent people to kill the boy, and there will be news soon. Zhao Xiangang poured himself a glass of wine and drank it all. He shook his head and said, Mr. Ren, why do you want to find He Changlang? You spent 20 million, and He Changlang will at most send you a mid-stage Xianshan realm to take action. To be honest, you might as well give me this money. After all, I'm still a late Xianshan realm. As he spoke, he raised his hand. 2 fingers together. Whoosh. A sharp vitality shot out like a bullet. Puff. A big hole was instantly shot out of the solid wood table in front. The woman accompanying the wine exclaimed immediately, this is just like carrying a gun with you. A hint of surprise also appeared in Ren Yuanfei's eyes. Master Zhao, your sky-breaking finger is really powerful. I feel more confident when I invite you to my side to protect me. Zhao Xiangang was very satisfied with Ren Yuanfei's flattery. Ha ha ha. Young Master Ren, you are too kind. Otherwise, you should ask He Changlang to return the money, and I will go and kill that kid. Ren Yuanfei shook his head. But, Master Zhao, that's not how we calculate it. That kid was able to seriously injure Mr. Sun in one go, which shows that he is a master of the Xianshan realm. Even if He Changlang sent the Yuanqi master to kill him, it is possible that he would fail. However, in this way, he can only know that it was He Changlang who was dealing with him. But if I'll let you deal with him, if you fail, that kid will definitely come to trouble me. I don't want to be on guard against a Yuanqi master all the time. Ren Yuanfei sneered. He was still very afraid of Su Chen. A gentleman does not stand under a dangerous wall. Ren Yuanfei was not going to have any contact with a master like Su Chen until he was killed. Spend 20 million and let He Changlang's people take action. Even if it fails, that guy will definitely not dare to cause trouble for He Changlang. Besides, I'm hiding at the back, and with a master like you protecting me, I'm naturally very safe. Ren Yuanfei looked like he had everything under control. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Are you so safe? I don't think so. Bang. The door of the box burst instantly. A figure appeared in front of Ren Yuanfei. Su Chen. Ren Yuanfei's face changed drastically. The second update is here. The next update will be in about half an hour. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.